Happy Father's Day to you too, Kevin. Happy Father's Day to all the dads and those that are serving in the role of father, as we welcome you to Sunday Night Baseball, where there are a bunch of fathers, sons, and fathers and daughters. And we're getting set for a shutout between the American League's best, the Houston Astros, in their division, and the Chicago White Sox kind of hanging around in their division, allowing the Guardians and the Twins to keep an eye on that rear view mirror. It is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, and our telecast tonight is presented by Taco Bell. 40 up, 25 down for the Astros. Yankees have run away with everything, but Houston is right there. And remember, second place gets you a bye in the postseason, still way down the road. That's David Cohn, Eduardo Perez. I'm Carl Ravitch, and again, happy Father's Day, and thanks very much for spending some time with us. We'll hear from Buster Olney in a moment. Yordan Alvarez is not in the starting lineup. Good news, it looks like he's available and will return in the very near future. That being said, there's no longer a George Springer here. They've lost so many stars. How do they maintain this 40-win, 100-win pace?
Experience. And again, it has to come from their leadership in the infield and the corner guys especially. Alex Bregman has to play bigger than those numbers are right now. The good news for Alex, he hasn't been chasing out of the zone. He's probably one click away from really getting hot. This month has been better than those numbers show. Yuli Gurriel's numbers, well, they just tell you the same story. OPS even down at 660. He's going to have to turn it on. Right center field is his key. Closed stance. If he can stay within the baseball, when he gets hot, Dusty Baker said, this Cuban missile could carry us.
Well, his brother went deep today in a Blue Jays win over the Yankees. We'll see if Yuli can do it here. All right, David Cohn, you think about the White Sox, and again, the injuries just kept adding up and adding up. The good news is they're about to get healthier, and yet they are still right there in that rearview mirror. That's difficult if you're the Guardians of the Twins.
Yeah, they're in the right division. Yeah,
that's right.
They're definitely keeping your eye on the White Sox if you're in that division. And Tony La Russa was pretty happy today in terms of that list that you see on the left, as Tim Anderson will be back tomorrow. They're confident that the majority of those guys will be back at some point this year, and we really haven't seen what they can do when they're all together as of yet, because the White Sox were picked to be kind of a juggernaut this year and take over that division. It hasn't gone that way so far.
As far as offense goes, Luis Roberts in the lineup. Andrew Vaughn's been terrific, but how about dealing with that guy?
Yeah, he's the one guy. If I'm the starting pitcher facing the White Sox, I circle his name on the lineup. You're not going to beat me today. If I have a chance, I'm going to put you on first base or pitch around you.
You saw Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager. Dusty Baker just got his 2000th win, will soon be a Hall of Fame manager. All it takes is for him to retire. He's not quite ready to do that yet. And Michael Kopech, perhaps more than anybody else, is really surprised that he's back on the mound so quickly.
Yeah, it was a scary knockout in the first inning in his last start, and it looked worse than it was because he's obviously back tonight. The thing about Kopech is that he gets great extension on his explosive four-seam fastball. It jumps on the hitters, and he's tough. He's a tough candidate when he's right and healthy.
Wildly popular here in Houston, of course, Jose Altuve signing some autographs before the game. He will be kind enough to wear an earpiece and a microphone for us. We'll talk with him in the third inning. We are set for White Sox and Astros on a Father's Day here in Houston on Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday Night Baseball, Houston, we have liftoff again. The Astros are in baseball's orbit, as reliable as the Earth's rotation. They rocketed to a title in 2017, and their accomplishment was grounded among the baseball galaxy for cheating. Alas, the good ship has fired its engines again, captained by an all-star crew led by Justin Verlander, who doesn't defy gravity, only time. And the offense is loaded with explosive bats, capable of moonshots at any moment. Some stars in the sky have changed, but Dusty Baker can guide the supernovas through any space debris in their way. The future is very bright. Houston, there is no problem with these Astros. The sky is the limit, so buckle up and enjoy the ride. 40 up, 25 down. Big size lead as the World Series champs from 2017 continue to put some distance between themselves and everyone else chasing in their division. And how consistent have they been? Only the Dodgers since 2017 with 4 wins, and then 3 teams in the American League East. And the Yankees continue to play the way they're playing. They will soon pass the Houston Astros, but it is not an easy pass. Not easy to be as consistent as they've been, given the names that they have changed here.
It really is true when you think about it. Jose Altuve's still there, still very much the heart and soul of this club. And As Eduardo said, Alex Bregman is just a couple of good games away from getting it going and getting on a hot streak.
Talk about Christian Javier on the mound. He'll start tonight 3-3, 320, 63 strikeouts on the season. What does he have to do to be successful?
You know, the thing about him is that it's going to be a lot of fly balls, a lot of swing and misses, a lot of pop-ups. He gets a lot of ride on his four-seam fastball, one of the best in the game in terms of spin, efficiency of that spin. I'll get into it more later about, it's not just about how tightly the ball spins out of his hand on a four-seam grip. It's how efficiently and active that spin is.
You're not going to see 98 from him. You'll see 98 if he's healthy from the other guy.
Exactly. The other guy is explosive in his stuff and his extension as well. And I'll get a little more into that later as we peel back some layers about what these guys are really featuring.
Look at Chef Cone peeling back layers. We're in the kitchen. Chef
I love it.
It's going to take us deep. Take a look at the lineup that Christian Javier is going to face, and look, it's different than what you would have expected from the White Sox, just given some of those injuries. Mendick has done a really good job at shortstop. Andrew Vaughn's been red hot. Robert and Abreu in the middle are terrific. A.J. Pollock, Jake Berger, Josh Harrison, Adam Hazley will play right field today. The 4.2 runs per game, 19th in baseball. When they're right, that's a top 5 offense in baseball.
It is. They have balance too in terms of power and guys that swing aggressively. They're not looking to walk, Eduardo. This White Sox team, they go up there to swing the bat.
It's going to be interesting. The bottom 3 on each order, whoever has the biggest day, I believe, might come out in front.
So keep an eye on 7, 8, 9. We'll start it with Danny Mendick, the shortstop, and behind Javier is Bregman at third, Mauricio Dubon at shortstop, Altuve's at second, Yuli Gurriel at first. Michael Brantley in left field, Chas McCormick in center, Kyle Tucker in right. Jason Castro will be catching tonight. Home plate umpire Corey Blazer points and says, let's play ball. And with that, we're underway. And there's 92 and a swing and a miss from Danny Mendick.
You guys keep an eye on Christian Javier. He's going to be straight line through. It doesn't matter how big of a game or not. Doesn't show emotion on the mound.
0-2. Went up and he came back down. Since Tim Anderson got hurt, Mendick has been playing shortstop and slashing .308, .348. 2 homers, 11 RBIs, 16 runs he has scored in 17 games. The offense has clicked, and they've won 4 of their last 5. 1 ball and 2 strikes. At the time of day, you can see the sun is sort of coming through the glass partitions. So many of the players are either in or out of the sun, and depending on where they move, they will drift in and out. That's the strikeout of Mendick. There you see that wall, and of course, the famous home run that was hit by Albert Pujols off Brad Lidge, but so many since then in the postseason here in Houston. The train tracks in left field. The roof is closed, temperature in triple digits.
Remember the original Astrodome was glass roof? Maybe that's not a good idea.
Here's Andrew Vaughn, the designated hitter, with a .322 batting average. Ball 1. Andrew Vaughn, perhaps more famous for what he did in college, a Golden Spikes Award winner at the University of California. Sophomore season, then a terrific junior season, but man, is he figuring it out here at the major league level. 6 homers, 29 RBIs, and that one just misses. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's been feeling really good at the plate, and he's using the entire field. You see the infield is going to be playing him straight up. Usually a predictable hitter. The league will pick up quickly and pull the shift on him.
3-0. His last 4 games, he's been on fire. 11 of 19, a .579 batting average. As a pitcher, you're aware of what he's done the last 4. I know you've seen a couple of them.
Apparently Javier is too. I'm falling down 3-0 here. Hot hitters will chase you out of the zone.
4 pitches and all balls. So the first base runner of our Sunday night game is Andrew Vaughn. Now you get into the heart of this order. Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, waiting for Eloy Jimenez to come back. Tim Anderson is the straw that stirs the whole thing. He's going to be back tomorrow. Texted his manager and said, I'm ready. Like, Tony, I am ready to go.
That put Tony in a good mood today.
Did. Altuve moves towards the second base bag for Robert, the center fielder. 1-0. And you've learned, I mean, we've been around Tony for, heck, 20 years. You learned he's not the guy that you just exchange pleasantries with and say, hey, how you doing? Because the answer is standard.
Tell you at 9 o'clock.
Tell you at 9:30. If there's a bottom of the ninth, then we're in good shape. Tell you after the game. Robert to the seats. So the translation of that is, if we win, I'm great. If we don't, I'm not.
I remember we were in Montreal when I was with the Cardinals, and this lady on the field came up to Tony and said, Mr. LaRussa, how are you today? And I was like, uh-oh. Scott Rowland was right next to me. He goes, wait for it. And he goes, I'll tell you at 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, even to the lady. Consistency.
1-1. And another souvenir to the folks here in Houston in the lower bowl on a Sunday night. For the most part, filled up. They've been spoiled, man, by the Astros and their baseball team. And Dusty Baker, as he was telling us before the game, you know, remember, I was brought in here and the team itself was a very successful team. But other places I've gone, Cincinnati, Chicago, I kind of had a rebuild. There was a bit of a rebuild, but it had nothing to do with the team on the field. It was the perception of the group off the field.
Yeah, and Dusty has been used to it, but he's always had that one star player that he can build around in every one of those organizations he's been in. You look at the Cubs, it was Sammy Sosa at the time. You look at Cincinnati, Joey Votto, even San Francisco with Barry Bonds. And again, Washington, Bryce Harper. He's been able to go in and make sure that that leader of that team, that best player, played at the highest ability, surrounded by good quality players.
I was right in on the fist. That two-seamer just kept riding in on him and fouled it off. Stays 1-2.
This is a good sign right now for Javier. Fastballs up in the zone, a lot of foul balls. Sooner or later, he'll have to snap a slider just to take him off that heater.
4 foul balls this at bat. Next pitch, see you later. 95. A little uptick in velo from Javier, the 25-year-old from the Dominican Republic.
He didn't mess around there, right?
No, that's just excellent location. You know, it's so tempting when it's right on the top box, right just above it, just one rung at a time when you go up the ladder with that four-seamer.
Over under 2 on ground balls today against Javier. I might take the under.
Yeah, that feels like it's almost a push.
2.5.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go 2.5.
For Jose Abreu, the first baseman. Living up in the zone 94. He's a fastball slider guy. It's interesting. His last start against the Rangers, he upped his curveball usage to about 13%. The 2 starts against Texas, which to me is scouting report, threw a lot more curveballs, but he's generally about a 90% guy when it comes to fastball slider.
You know, that's generally the case with guys that come out of the bullpen. As Javier did a very nice job out of the bullpen. He's really done well on both sides. He's been good in the rotation. He was really good as a reliever, and you see that pitch usage. The curveball, Carl, is going to give him a chance to go front to back in style of pitching instead of north and south.
Right.
Being able to change speeds.
But is that a scouting report? Because the curveball against Texas in 2 starts was 13%.
Yes, absolutely, and it's something to look for. It's a great pickup because that's the chance he has to kind of get something off of the ball, get some velocity off of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes, just like that.
Big difference between 77 miles an hour and 95 on the top end. You know, Eduardo, I was always taught there's 3 ways to go about it. There's east and west to get hitters out. There's north and south, and there's front to back. And front to back is changing speeds.
I was going to say, so fast to slow.
Exactly.
Or slow to fast. Ahead of Abreu already with 2 strikeouts in the inning. Stays alive, just got a piece of it. Best start for Javier came against the Guardians on May 25th. 9 strikeouts, 3 hits, and just a walk. And in that game, 92%. 60% fastball, 32% slider. 9 home runs, 32 runs batted in for Jose Abreu. A little blooper into right. Tucker, as good as there is in right field, is there to make the play. Good inning for Christian Javier. When we come back on Sunday Night Baseball, Altuve, Brantley, and Bregman for the Astros. He's on the field, and there was a big-time scare in his last start when he landed and he heard a pop. And I can't think of a worse sound for an athlete to hear than a pop in your knee, especially as dependent as pitchers are on that push-off and land leg, Coney. But he bounced back. We saw him slam the baseball like it was a football after a touchdown. He thought he was out for a while.
Yeah, that did not look good at all, needless to say. But he has an explosive arm. As you see, the K rate above average on the Major League Baseball side. But the base on balls rate, that's a little above average too as well. So he can strike you out, and he can lose the zone at times as well. So when he gets in the stretch and you get base runners, that's the time when you really key in on Michael Kopech.
Jose Altuve will lead things off, the second baseman. With a hamstring injury early to start this season, and when he came off the IL, he has been raking ever since. Had a couple of hits yesterday. He'll be followed by Brantley and Bregman, familiar names. Tucker, Gurriel, Chas McCormick, Castro, and Mauricio Dubon, who is just acquired from the Giants. Catcher Michael Papierski will be at shortstop. Kopech hurt his leg. He said, I don't know what it was, but the way it felt not being able to bear weight on it. When I got on the mound and tried to throw another pitch, I definitely thought it would be pretty bad news. Goes the first pitch curveball that misses 1-0. And yes, there is some concern from Tony La Russa. Are you anxious about the starting? The answer is yes, we are. They claim they have backup insurance policies, but greatest insurance tonight would be if Kopech can give you 6-7 innings. He's missed twice.
Well, it's not only a follow, and you're going to watch every pitch he throws if you're on the Chicago White Sox bench, but he's also converting from relief to starting this year. So you already had to kind of watch his workload this year.
Kopech from Tyler, Texas, about 200 miles north of Houston, raised in Mount Pleasant, Texas. That one's in there for a strike. 93. Originally drafted by the Boston Red Sox, traded in 2017 in that Chris Sale deal. Yoan Moncada, who's dealing with a bulky hamstring. Haven't IL'd him yet. They hope it's nothing serious and he can come back. Back up this way, just a little short of the Sunday night booth.
I was ready for it. We're going to see a lot of foul balls with the velocity from both pitchers this evening. Kopech especially pitching up in the zone like that. You'll see many late.
Now Altuve laces that one into left field. And Jose Altuve about face that four-seam fastball. He is aboard.
How about Jose? Game starts with a curveball because they know he can ambush you on that first pitch, and then challenges him again with the fastball. Misses location, tries to go away. Altuve thinks in. Once he hits it, you see the tongue just come out. Likes the feel of it.
Is there a better high fastball hitter in the game today than Jose Altuve?
Answer is no.
Is there a more consistent hitter in the game of baseball today than this guy? Michael Brantley. Another terrific year, 296.
Guys, I'd like to chime in as someone who's 5'7"3/4. He's not going to hit anything but high fastballs.
Buster from the top rope.
And the thing is, Altuve looks for the ball up there. That 2-0 pitch that was down in the zone, he had nothing to do with it. He was looking up the entire time. That's the way he's been pitched his entire life. He was always the smallest guy on the team.
Was it Chad Green last year? Where was that pitch that Altuve hit in May against the Yankees at the stadium? I mean, that was above his head.
Guys at home, just look at Michael Brantley's hands when the pitch is being released. They are so quiet. The landing also of that right foot. That's why he's a model of consistency at the plate. That's why those numbers are always there. You see the OPS plus at 135, rarely struggles.
2-0 count. Altuve off first. Called strike at the top of the zone. Looked like it might have been a little out of the zone. It certainly wasn't in the K zone, but Corey Blazer gave it to him, and it's 2-1.
Tony, a lot of hitters, when they take their, I love this word, when they go back on their load, you lose your hands from the TV screen. You never lose Brantley's hands on the screen.
Foul. His eyes lit up on that curveball. Lit up.
Watch the hands right here. Just quiet, quiet, and then all of a sudden, explosion. Tight elbow, that's the left elbow to the ribs. Recognize it, just missed it. Another player that does that really well with the Astros is Yordan Alvarez.
Luis Robert in center field is shaded to left. There's a huge gap in right center field. Got him after that last swing. Michael Kopech and his catcher went right back to it for the strikeout.
It's the front to back part of pitching that we mentioned before. Kopech known for his explosive four-seam fastball, to be able to dial back on that curveball. Very effective here. And this is really more about the speed than the location, although it's decently located down and away. But the metrics on it on that curveball, the RPM's a little bit less than average. And the vertical, 2 inches less drop, and the horizontal, a little less break. So it was really about the speed.
95-mile-an-hour fastball to start Alex Bregman. Third baseman, a little inconsistent, but as he told us before the game down on the field, he feels like he is so close. All of the expected numbers, his expected batting average, expected weighted on base average, all those things he said indicate, at least in his mind, he is so close. He is not chasing pitches like he has in years past. This one is squared up right center field, and that's in there. Alex Bregman delivers, and perhaps another indication in his mind it's working, and he is working at it.
Having that conversation with him, he stands on top of the plate, and he understands, look, everything for me right now, my eyes are where they need to be. The back foot is angled a little bit towards the catcher, a little bit more than it has been in the past. He's trying to stay through the middle, and right there just proves it. Not trying to be afraid to get jammed. Perfectly done. Now you have runners at first and third for Kyle Tucker.
Left-handed cleanup hitter, the right fielder, 261. He's got 13 homers, 41 runs batted in, and terrific speed. As the White Sox defense moves Danny Mendick to the second base side of the bag, so they get 3 with Mendick, Harrison, and Abreu on the right side. It's the call low, strike 1, just underneath the K zone. So we've seen one up called to strike, and now down called to strike.
That's not good. That's not a good feeling if you're a hitter. Knowing, and if you're watching the game, you're like, wait a second. Brantley was called up and away straight. Then all of a sudden I get a low one. Who are you?
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Shadows. Shadows affect the umpires too.
0-1 to Tucker, and Tucker serves one into left. There's nobody there that's going to catch that one. 1 run is in. Bregman hustling for third. He's in there as the ball gets away, and now down to second goes Kyle Tucker. A little soft serve, ice cream into left, and it's 1-0 Houston.
Tell you what, the base hit, that's great. You can lollipop it right in there in left field, but most importantly is the base running. You win games running those bases aggressively. 1 out. Alex Bregman has that play right in front of him, and he decides to go to third base. Watch the secondary right here. As soon as he sees where the ball is hit, he commits now to go to third. Left fielder going away from the baseball, and as soon as he's going away from the baseball, he's like, okay, I have this. I've got this. It's money. A.J. Pollock trying to make a good throw. Alex Bregman beats it out.
Extra bases taken on the back end, too. Tucker at second.
And now Yuli Gurriel with 2 in scoring position and 1 down. The 3 hits have matched yesterday's hit total for the Astros. Kopech misses inside. Yesterday, Johnny Cueto blanked him. He was terrific. White Sox won that game 7-zip. Friday night, different story. And this the rubber game, each team having won 1. One ball, 1 strike. Any anxiety that you think after having dealt with what he did that you might feel on the mound? Are you feeling your way through this inning?
A little bit. We've seen his velocity much higher.
Yeah.
In particular, the last Sunday night game he started at Yankee Stadium. There's no hiding in today's game because every pitch can be measured. And they have that information real time in both dugouts. So if you want to find out, hey, where's his release point, spin rate, is his extension still there? It's just not about looking at a radar gun anymore. You can really break down every aspect of every pitch.
Bregman off third, Tucker off second. The next one from Kopech to Gurriel. That's in there for a strike at the bottom of the zone. A slider at 83. It's interesting. For a guy that was so dominant with that fastball, Coney, his strikeout rate has declined as much as virtually anybody in baseball. Trevor Rogers, Yu Darvish, Quintana on the list behind Wells, but down 11%. Chance here ahead. 2-2 foul ball. It'll stay 2-2.
You know, both starting pitchers are coming out of the bullpen.
True.
They're learning how to be starting pitchers. So to get 2 and 3 times through an order, neither one of them feature changeups very often. So it's pretty much fastball, breaking ball. So how are we going to get different looks? You can take a little bit off your curveball, maybe mix in your curveball more, as you pointed out, Carl. So that's the direction it's going right now for these two, for both starting pitchers tonight.
J.J. Matajevic, who is the designated hitter, stands on deck. You got a quick look at him and Justin Verlander. And Gurriel straight up on the infield. Harrison makes the play. There are 2 down. That's a big out from Kopech if he can hold it to just 1. The old adage, Coney, and you know this as a pitcher, you've lived it. They didn't get me in the first. They're not going to get me the rest of the game.
To me, it's just as important for a pitcher. We tend to focus on runners in scoring position for batters. What's your average? What did the team do with runners in scoring position? For the pitcher, it's just as important. The strand rate, leave him out there. Kopech, a big at-bat right here to be able to do that.
So no Yordan Alvarez tonight. J.J. Matajevic, the designated hitter out of the University of Arizona a couple years ago. Big time power here from the left side. Kopech falls behind 1-0.
Can you say his name for me one more time?
Yeah, Matajevic.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, because I did not hear it right the first time. I will say this, though, for Kopech. They haven't hit the ball hard yet off of him. Hardest ball has been 91.5 miles per hour from Bregman. 87.1 miles per hour off the bat of Altuve, and saw Tucker's base hit at 66.5 miles per hour.
They do shift for Matajevic again. Shortstop on the second base side. Foul. That one straight back. Remember Jay Johnson, who is now the head coach at LSU with the College World Series currently underway and going on over on ESPN2. Johnson's at LSU. He was at Arizona when Matajevic was there and described him as the hardest worker on the team.
That's a compliment. Jay Johnson's no joke whatsoever.
Called strike 3, and Corey Blazer early has got a wide zone. North, south.
And north.
And more north. Picks up his second strikeout of the inning. He will strand 2. The Astros off the launching pad, lead it 1-0. Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. And a long-time rivalry. There is mutual respect. There have been some up moments. There have been plenty of down moments. The years that Dusty Baker spent while Tony La Russa was in St. Louis, of course, with the Reds and with the Cubs, they acknowledge you manage against somebody as long as we did, you're going to have a few dust-ups. Both with 2,000 wins. It's an amazing number right there. 210 head-to-head beatings, and each has won 105. That blows your mind. 210 beatings, and each man has won 105 times.
Think they're sending each other Christmas cards?
Well,
Now they are, probably.
I think they may. I mean, I know they've exchanged letters, which Buster will tell us about a little later on. There's a swing and a miss. It's a real interesting time of day to start the game because the sun has to have some impact. Eddie, what's the impact? You know this ballpark as well as anybody.
Believe it or not, for the hitter, it does not have that much of an impact. Again, why? Because the sun here sets more on the left side, on the left field foul pole area. And because of the windows, it mostly affects the defense than it does the hitters. Also, soon we'll see how much it'll affect also a ground ball to the third baseman thrown over across to first.
A.J. Pollock with a shift against him on, and there is a breaking pitch in there for a strike.
They had Towles Hill here before, right? I mean, this center field's gone through some changes, including the batter's eye.
Yeah, this ballpark has gone through plenty of changes. You're right about the hill in center field where the flag used to be also behind in front of the batter's eye. Not anymore.
2-2 to Pollock, and this ball driven deep to center field. McCormick going back. He'll stop just short of the wall, and he will make the play. As we went to commercial break, just want to show you this. So Corey Blazer, of course, had that punch out of J.J. Matijevic, and the hitting coach for the Astros, Alex Cintrone, got thrown out of the game, complaining about the strike zone, the balls and strikes, and Blazer ran him out of the game. So already one of the hitting coaches for the Astros has been thrown out. Dusty came out and helped defend his own guy and plead his case. But we saw an ejection while you guys were all at home watching commercials.
That was quick too. I mean, I know you're not supposed to argue balls and strikes, but my goodness.
Jake Berger.
No!
One ball, one strike to the third baseman. 262 on the year, 8 homers, 23 runs batted in. Astros defense plays him straight up, and there's a breaking pitch that did not break enough. That is the fact it didn't break enough to not allow him to get out of the way of it.
Like it hit him in the arm. Jason Castro was actually telling Javier on the mound that it had hit him. Wasn't aware that it did.
Came in at such an odd angle, and it just didn't knuckle or curve. Yeah, grazed off his shirt. Gonna get hit.
Yeah. It's a little skid mark across the arm.
Second inning, they've had a base runner on for Reese McGuire, the catcher. First pitch swinging. And that's down the third baseline in the seats. Feels like all the hitters, you know, we had the 3 true outcomes. Strikeouts for individuals, you can work on getting those numbers down. We shared that with Bregman, who's not swinging at nearly as many pitches outside the zone. Reese McGuire is another one of those guys. His current strikeout rate would be a career best, a career low. Astros shift on defense, and he fouls another one back.
That's a common denominator so far early in this game with both pitchers. A lot of foul balls. It's going to happen. Both guys, especially Javier, one of the best and most prolific fly ball pitchers in the league. He needs to induce soft contact if the ball's going to be hit in the air.
And this one to left, and going back is Brantley. He is at the wall, and he's not going to get it. Bounces off the base of the wall. Berger didn't get a huge jump. He's into third. Into second with the double is Reese McGuire. And the unique configuration here at Minute Maid Park, Brantley had to kind of go around where the Crawford boxes are and then chase it further. And he couldn't get there, and neither could Chas McCormick from center.
You see Brantley's starting point. Usually with right-handed hitters, Brantley will be more towards that left center gap. Some reason he was playing more down the line, thinking he's going to be late and he needs to cover the line a little bit more. But with right-handed hitters, he will play a lot more towards the center part of the field.
Now Josh Harrison with runners at second and third. Mistake there from Javier. I mean, the double comes on an 0-2 pitch.
That's part of it. I think, you know, that sort of a scenario with today's modern pitchers, especially starters, trying to get deeper into the games, that there's not a lot of waste pitches anymore. But to your point, yeah, you could make a higher quality pitch.
Harrison, a longtime Pirate veteran. Matt Ben's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's hit safely in his last 3 games. One thing about winning over 2,000 games, being a Hall of Fame manager, you will not look at your lineup or look at injuries and feel really bad for yourself. And Marissa made a great point about you look around and no matter who we're putting out there, you got to believe we're going to win the game tonight. It doesn't matter what the name on the back of the uniform is. It's the one on the front, and it's worked. I mean, the team has dealt with these injuries and hung around.
Just in case you're keeping score at home, that's the 11th foul ball so far by the White Sox against Christian Javier.
I don't know if they're keeping score at home. I know who is keeping score. You've jumped on the foul ball bandwagon from Jump Street.
The key is when the foul balls come, early in the count or late. It's annoying if you're a pitcher and the foul ball's coming and there's already 2 strikes. That's just annoying. But in order to get strike 1 or strike 2, you're fine with that.
Right. I'd say this, Eduardo and I just came from Omaha, and so many of the pitchers have a hard time putting the hitter away. Get ahead 0-2, 1-2, and then that strike 3 is a hard one to come by, and this one is elevated. Not a lot of speed on Berger on third, and no way he's going to advance on that one. So a good job by Christian Javier to pick up the out on Harrison. Speaking of Omaha, check this play out. Underway on ESPN2, Notre Dame and Oklahoma. And Robertson says, I have it. He goes all the way over. Look out. Oh, what a catch from the Oklahoma Sooner first baseman against the Irish. And he is okay. But my goodness. They got padding on the bottom there, but you can see the cement on the wall as that action's on ESPN2 right now. Earlier today, Texas A&M knocked Texas out of the College World Series. So the Longhorns, David Pierce, are going home. A&M and their new coach, Jim Schlossnagle, survive. And obviously here in Houston, there are so many Houston kids that are playing in the College World Series.
A lot of foul territory there.
Yes,
a ton. There, not down the line in the corners, but certainly around first base and between home plate and third.
It's a lot bigger than most of those players play in, because a lot of quaint ballparks.
Adam Hazley 1-0. That's high. 2 balls, no strikes.
The ability to get hitters to hit the ball in the air could save Javier right here.
Right.
As the infield was playing back, the runners at second and third. Infield pop-up right now. He's 1 out and 1 pitch away from getting out of this.
Out. The most desirable out for a pitcher, too, is the pop-up. Ground balls get booted. Ground balls find holes. Pop-ups are the easiest play.
The Astros left runners at second and third, and now the Astros are trying to leave 2 White Sox at second and third. That's right down the middle. Really good pitch. 94 miles an hour from Javier, and he's a strike away from getting out of it. Right down the middle, strike 3. Adam Hazley missed a couple of fastballs, didn't take advantage of an opportunity, and the White Sox will strand 2. Christian Javier picks up his 3rd strikeout of the game, and the White Sox throw an opportunity here early. Baseball, the fight against prostate cancer by supporting the Home Run Challenge. Visit MLBcommunity.org to learn more. MLBcommunity.org to learn more on this Father's Day as Major League Baseball joins with the players in the fight against prostate cancer. Curious at bat by Hazley, man. Those were 2 fastballs right down Broadway, and he never had the bat leave the shoulder. Now back to the Astros, who are playing again without Yordan Alvarez. Injured hand. Relief, according to Dusty Baker, not nearly as bad as they had feared it would be. He should be back anytime and could be available off the bench tonight. Chas McCormick, Jason Castro, Mauricio Dubon due up for Houston here at the bottom of the 2nd inning on a Sunday night. Michael Kopech, after throwing a bunch of pitches in the 1st inning, leaving runners at 2nd and 3rd, has a little smoother time with the bottom 3rd of the order. McCormick on a 1-hopper. Should be an easy one for Mendick. No, it was close. Really good hustle down the line by Chas McCormick to make it a play.
Got down the line, and you have to. Look, there's a battle in center field, and no one wants to, seems to be able to take it for the Astros. You have to get down the line. Dusty has to love the effort right there. Routine ground ball, put the pressure on Mendick.
29.6 feet per second from McCormick down the line. Pretty close to elite speed category. He could run.
And again, another ball that was not hit very hard. And as a result, it didn't get to Mendick very quickly, but that's an early trend on the balls put in play by the Astros. Castro behind 0-1. Former Stanford Cardinal product. Take a look at StatCast. It's powered by Google Cloud, and one of the things that's a trend early on, Altuve, Bregman, Tucker. You're a pitcher, that's encouraging.
Yeah, the value of launch angle, right? Find the outfield grass. It's a big difference between mid-70s ground ball and mid-70s blooper.
Yeah.
I'll take the blooper for 500.
All day long.
And a daily double. So one of the things, though, about the ball that, you know, the hitter is trying to do is to elevate the ball. But the other part of that you hear now, just put the ball in play. Hit it hard anywhere on the ground, because sometimes bad things happen when the ball's on the ground. There's another strikeout.
Want more stats? Just ask Siri who leads MLB in home runs.
Well, that's Aaron Judge. We don't need Siri for that, but I tell you, Michael Trout is coming quickly. We saw him last Sunday night on Sunday Night Baseball. Had a great conversation with him. Part of that involved the old Mike Trout Fantasy Football League. And right back up the middle, ranging to his right, Harrison. And the tag is not applied by Abreu. That throw dragged Abreu off the bag. Dubon able to evade the tag of Abreu, so he is aboard.
To Dubon getting down that line. Ball gets in on him, and Harrison makes a nice play, throws across his body. It gets Breu off the bag. He does everything right. Comes off the bag, clears the lane for Dubon for no collision. Just misses him as Dubon evades the tag.
There's so many strings standing off of that glove. That was real close, but aboard. Official scorer here says that's ruled a hit. Would have thought a good throw would have had him out. But Dubon is aboard, which flips the lineup over to Jose Altuve. He had a couple of hits yesterday. Pretty typical of Altuve, leading all American League second baseman in on base, OPS, tied for first in homers, second in slugging.
The 12 home runs kind of jump out at
you.
For all that Jose Altuve has done in his career. His power game's up this year.
Fly ball rate is up this year. He reached base on a single, chasing a high fastball. Dubon 1 stolen base on the season as Kopech checks him out. Altuve will be wearing the microphone and the earpiece for us. He takes the field in the top of the 3rd inning.
Both times that they've been able to throw strikes to him that he's taken. 2-0 pitch in the 1st inning, and right now 0-0. Same exact location. Jose Altuve is not looking there unless he has 2 strikes and he has to expand. He's looking for something up, and he's looking for something that he can hit out in front and try to hit it over the Crawford boxes.
Certainly another aspect that is noticeable. Kopech's velocity is definitely down tonight. 0-1, runner goes. Throw down to second base. In time, and Dubon, bidding for his 2nd stolen base of the year, is denied. Good throw by Reese McGuire. Got a good pitch to throw him out on. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Altuve will lead off when they go back to the plate. He will join us when he goes to the field as we continue on Sunday night. Welcome back on Sunday Night Baseball. Each and every week we're joined by a player on the field or a designated hitter off the field. Tonight it's that guy right there, the second baseman for the Houston Astros, Jose Altuve. Thanks so much for doing this for us. Happy Father's Day, Jose.
Hey, thank you for having me, and happy Father's Day for all you guys out there.
We appreciate you doing that very much. Danny Mendick will lead things off, followed by Andrew Vaughn and Luis Robert. There's ball 1. Start there. What does Father's Day mean to Jose Altuve?
No, it means a lot. You know, I think my dad is a big part of my life. You know, he taught me how to play baseball, and you know, he's here today. So it's a pretty cool Father's Day for me.
That's tremendous. So you've spent some time with him?
Yeah, absolutely. This morning we have breakfast together, and yeah, we talked a little bit. He loved talking about baseball, and I did my best.
3-0. So tell me, what are some of the valuable lessons your dad told you? I recall reading, right, you once went to those tryouts in Venezuela when you were a little boy. Wasn't your dad who encouraged you to continue to go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, you know, the Astros tryout, you know, it became a little popular story, you know, when they told me to go home, and my dad was like, okay, we have to come back. I have a feeling, and I didn't want to, but I came back and make that play out of ball. We got one.
So what I should say, for people who don't know, when you went to the original tryout, they told you thanks, but no thanks. You should go home.
I think I went to many tryouts with different organizations. Hey. You know, they all said I could play a little bit, I could run, could hit a little bit, and you know, but I was too short, and I think by then I was just like 138 pounds. So I was like short and skinny, so nobody really fall in love with me or wanted to give me the the opportunity. And, you know, I think my dad was right. He had a feeling. He told me to come back. And then, you know, the day I came back, Alfredo Pedrique, which he was like the Latin American director of scouting, was there. So he saw me playing, you know, running, doing a little bit. And, you know, he was the one, along with other scouts, that decided to give me the opportunity. And, you know, I'm very, very thankful with him.
And with him and your dad, good on your dad for telling you to continue to go back. High fly ball to center. Jose is watching that one be caught by Chas McCormick. Jose, you got a trip coming up to New York. That was, I thought, one of the sites of a great home run you hit last year. You remember that home run you hit against the Yankees at the stadium, and then there was the big hug from Dusty Baker. What did that home run mean to you?
You know, it meant a lot because I think by then we were down in the series like 3-0 or 2-0. I don't remember how many games we played there. But, you know, they were about to sweep us. And, you know, I came out, hit the big homer. Of course, you know, the boys got on base. So it was like a team effort. And then I got, you know, a homer. It actually was my birthday. So it was a good birthday gift for myself. And, you know, help us to win the game and don't let the New York Yankees sweep us last year.
0 balls and 1 strike now to Luis Robert. Talking with Jose Altuve. That's inside. And by the way, as you know, when you go to Yankee Stadium, you heard a lot from the fans all series long. So you got a chance to kind of quiet some of the fans there with all the stuff they were saying.
You know, I think they very, you know, into the game. They like to support their team, and yeah, they're very loud. Obviously, I have to do my best to focus on the game, to concentrate on my bats and defense, and, you know, to just try to play my game.
Jose, why do you love art so much? I know you're a big art aficionado.
Say it again.
Why do you love art so much? I know you're a big art aficionado.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's something. I think my mom was the one that got me into that, and then my wife. They both love art, and you know, I like to go in different cities and go to the museums and explore, you know, the different art they have. I think I like that to you know, to get away a little bit from baseball in the mornings before the game, help me to relax, and, you know, sometimes to reset, start from zero again, and just go fresh to play another game.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Top of the 3rd. Houston leading the White Sox 1-0. Christian Javier. 3 strikeouts already. Here's the next pitch, and that ball is driven to right center. You heard Jose say, uh-oh, at the wall.
Okay, we got it.
Catch is made. Big smile on your face, Jose. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Jose Altuve will lead off for the Astros when we continue on Sunday Night Baseball as Luis Robert took it to the track. 2-3 innings, you lose the conversation with Jose Altuve. But take a look at this, guys. You compare Roberto Alomar and Jose Altuve. The orange numbers are where that person is ahead of the other. A lot of orange on Jose Altuve's side, including the MVP award. Got the World Series. So Jose Altuve is certainly in that class, and it is unbelievable when you consider the postseason. There's only one guy who has more postseason home runs, and I understand he plays in a lot of postseasons, but that's Manny Ramirez. So there is a big stage quality to a guy that's about 5'7", 5'8" tall. He leads off against Kopech and hooks one foul. What are your thoughts on that, Eduardo? You start with Altuve. This is, again, the comparisons with Alomar, but you can compare him to anybody when it comes to the postseason.
And I was having conversations with his teammates that have been here and for a long time with him, and they're like, look, the focus that he has during the postseason is like no other. During the regular season, he seems to sometimes get distracted, but when it comes down to postseason, he doesn't miss a pitch, doesn't miss a beat. And it's like a racehorse. He knows when that race, that big race is going to be. Jose Altuve rises to the occasion.
Could not agree more. Was teammates with Roberto Alomar, and he was the guy that you wanted up in a key situation. Jose Altuve, very similar in that regard.
Yeah, guys, I think that his Hall of Fame case is going to be one of the most interesting ones. I stopped voting years ago, but if I was still voting and he continued on the same trajectory, I would vote for him. But I do wonder if he's going to be handled by the voters, same as they handled Roberto Alomar, who I thought was a transcendent figure in baseball. But the voters made him wait for a year because of the spitting incident. I wonder if that's what's going to happen with Altuve, given the sign stealing incident.
It may. That pitch, Altuve way out in front of, and now a 1-2, and he hooks this one on the ground to third. Berger to first, and Altuve is retired. Continue that. Go ahead, Buster.
Yeah, I was going to say, and keep in mind, all of his teammates say he wasn't one of the guys who was actually benefiting from the banging of the trash cans. But you guys know how voters are. It can be very selective in terms of the justice that's meted out.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, and I coached here with the Astros in 2013, and sometimes the team had the other pitchers' pitches. You know, either he was tipping, doing something. Altuve never wanted to know. He was one of those guys that never wanted to know, and it really caught me by surprise when they were saying, well, this is a guy that was doing it, just from the outside looking in, because I was not around that team during that time.
Yeah, and again, there are going to be a whole bunch of people that are skeptical about about that and about Altuve's involvement in it. There are many, in fact, I don't know any in the organization who would let you think that he was involved with that cheating part of it, and he was well aware of the social media backlash that occurred after ESPN put out on Twitter and other platforms that Jose Altuve was going to wear a microphone. And you know the way that Twitter and social media work. Right away, well, that's not the first time he's been doing that. He saw all that, you know, and he's in a position now, years removed. It was 2017. This is 2022. To have not taken it nearly as personally as he once did, and that's the other part of Altuve that, if you know him, people who do know him say he wore that. That's why the whole Yankee Stadium thing was. You called it a reaffirming hug from Dusty after the home run, because he was getting abused.
It was a big deal, and ironically, the Astros will be going back to the Bronx next weekend for a big 4-game series. It was a signature moment for Dusty Baker and Jose Altuve. At the end of the weekend, Altuve hits a big home run to avoid a sweep.
2-1 jam shot there. Harrison steps out. Watch out for the right fielder coming real hard, but it's Harrison who's able to call him off, and there are 2 quick outs from Kopech. And again, they had second and third in the first inning. Very quiet second inning, and now 2 down in the third. Next Sunday night should be a really, really interesting one. The Dodgers, so that's Freddie Freeman, will be in Atlanta to take on the Braves right here on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio. Our coverage starts at 6 Eastern. With baseball tonight's Sunday night countdown. The Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves next Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. That was one of those you'd circle.
Yes, that's a dandy.
And Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez will be back, as well as we'll tag team with a K-Rod cast on ESPN2. Bregman sky high. First baseman. Ryu makes the play. Only a 9-pitch inning as Michael Kopech smiling as he walks off the field. Bregman, not so much. 1-0 through 3 here in Houston. Baseball here on ESPN. Our telecast tonight presented by Taco Bell. David Cohen's here. Eduardo Perez down on the field, Buster Olney. Marley Rivera's in the building, as she was there for baseball tonight. And happy Father's Day for sure to everyone at home watching. The sun has now set, and a lot easier to see, certainly from even the vantage point that we sit at. Tough coming off the glare on that field, the ball jumping off the bat.
Don't tell that to the people down the right field line.
They get a little sliver down there. Abreu, A.J. Pollock, Jake Berger. Slow curveball, 74 miles an hour. How's the Hall of Famer doing? How's Tony doing on Father's Day?
Doing really well.
Yeah.
Spoke to him this morning. Watching the game right now.
Round to third, Bregman. easy play, man. He looks nice and easy. So Tony's out watching the game.
He's watching the game in Puerto Rico.
Happy Father's Day, Tony.
He's a star.
Could roll out of bed right now and drive in too, right?
Oh, right center field, baby. There he is. All right.
Saw him when we were in Puerto Rico to celebrate a milestone for the Perez family. He does look like he could roll out of bed and drive in too, if not more. He looks terrific.
Doesn't miss a beat.
He could roll the pole a little bit.
Ask him about any player in the league, he'll tell you.
A.J. Pollock. So he got a chance to look up to his dad, the Hall of Famer. We'll get to your family situation in a moment, but was there a Hall of Fame guy that you looked up to? And I don't mean on a personal level, but who was your guy? Who was your baseball player, Cody?
My guy was George Brett, growing up in Kansas City. You know, those Royals teams had a couple of ex-Reds on there. Hal McRae came over and really kind of turned that franchise around from the Big Red Machine. But as a kid growing up in Kansas City, George Brett was just the guy. And then I got a chance to be a teammate with him.
I was just saying, so what was that? What was the first meeting with George Brett like?
It was surreal.
Were you able to speak? Were you nervous?
Very nervous. I mean, there was a couple of spring trainings. You know, when you're a rookie, you get to go to big league spring training a couple of times before when you're still in the minor leagues. But even then, you were afraid to even speak to them, right? I mean, the rookies kind of stayed over in the corner and you didn't speak unless you were spoken to.
2-1, steady diet of breaking pitches. That one down. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it looks like that is the scouting report against Pollock. Threw him 3 sliders in the first at-bat. Already has 3 in this at-bat.
Former Dodger Pollock, 3-1, choking up on the bat. 4 homers, 21 runs batted in for A.J.
Excuse me, I said 3-4 in this at-bat.
Went with a fastball and he lost him. So I know you lost your dad recently, but that guy was a massive influence on everything you did, because I know you speak reverentially about your mom too.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to the stories we've already heard today, but my dad was the guy who worked the graveyard shift at a meat packing plant. And when he got home in the morning, same thing. Hey, Dad, let's go. And he was always there. You know, like first Father's Day without him.
Yeah. Jake Berger misses. It's amazing, isn't it, how as children you're kind of detached from what the father's actually doing. So you were working all night, but now it's really important we play catch.
Yeah, no, it's my time now.
Right.
You know?
Hear the noise in the background. The crowd is doing the wave here on Father's Day and Sunday night, so that's making its way around the ballpark, which is why you hear that steady kind of din in the background. Disjointed, like they got work to do on the wave.
The one thing we know about this ballpark is it gets loud in October, and they've had a lot of October games over the last 5 years or so.
Loudest building I was ever in. Yankee Stadium during that Diamondback series was, I thought the building was going to come down, but the Kingdome in Seattle was, when it was full, and that Yankee game, it was the loudest building I've ever heard. That was just like cement, just incredible amount of noise that ricocheted off the wall. It was loud in there as Berger strikes out.
Crazy Seattle fans. Those Seattle fans were so loud, so into it.
I'll tell you this, as a hitter, you go up and you're thinking Christian Javier has been dominating with the top part of the zone. I'm going to cheat fastball. Well, so far we've seen a steady diet of sliders from both Pollock and now Jake Berger getting that strikeout there with 3 consecutive sliders.
4 Ks and another throw over to first. Were you one of those pitchers, Coney, that could just block all noise out? Did you hear it? Did you see things?
You definitely heard it.
You did.
I did.
You did.
You know, and certainly if it's your home crowd and there's 2 strikes, you kind of fed off of that energy. But conversely, you know, bases loaded and you're trying to throw a strike and you're on the road, it's a little different.
You talk about pitching to a scouting report. That's what Christian Javier has been doing. Reese McGuire saw 3 pitches last time. 0-2, was able to double a fastball that had too much plate. Never threw him anything off speed. Everything was hard. First pitch, fastball down the middle for a strike.
The Astros starting pitching, Verlander for the first time really in a long time got hit around yesterday, but the Astros pitching has been terrific. 3.30 ERA, which is 3rd best, a whip which is 4th best. The opponent's batting average is 3rd best. The bullpen has been an absolute strength. For as good as the Yankees bullpen has been on their way to their 49 wins, the Astros pen, their ERA is 2.55, best in baseball. They lead Major League Baseball in save percentage. They're 2nd in opponent's average and whip. The pitching staff here has been dynamite.
A lot of diverse styles too. The power guys, Verlander still 4-seam gas, Javier with a riding 4-seamer, and then Framber Valdez, a ground ball machine, sinker guy.
Jose Urquidy. Several of these guys too, for as the big a knock as you get on the Astros system, like they've produced a lot of homegrown talent.
They really have, and you look at 4 of the 5 starters in their rotation are Astros pitchers. Obviously, it's Justin Verlander, who is not. He's a Detroit Tiger original. But 2 of those especially. You look at even Urquidy, I'll add to this. Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, they signed later. Usually you have a lot of Dominican pitchers in international pitching and position players signed at the age of 16. Not Valdez. He signed when he was in his 20s. You look at Luis Garcia in his 20s as well. And their belief was, why not go after guys that are probably more mature and polished that can go out and be effective. Framber Valdez, yes, had some elbow issues when he was young, but he's looked solid since.
Another knuckle curve. This just feels like somebody who's pitching tonight. There's not just the dependence on even 2 pitches.
Yeah, you picked up on that early, and you could see the evolution of Christian sort of becoming a viable starting pitcher, getting through a lineup 3 times.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Did he check his swing? No. The appeal to 3rd. The catcher is going all the way to the dugout, and it was the 3rd base umpire, Malachi Moore, who said no, he did not swing at it. Already we've seen one Astros staff member get thrown out on a strike zone complaint.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah, that looked like a swing, didn't it?
That broke the plane.
Broke the wings. Got the tires on the plane.
Would have been a double.
We'll see. That could be a big call. 3-2. Runner on first. Yeah, see, now you got first and second, 2 down, and the crowd recognizes that could have been strike 3.
Was it Castro today in Toronto that had 2 pitches that were in the strike zone called ball, ended up walking the hitter, then Lourdes Gurriel ends up hitting the grand slam? Look, this is how it starts. Now, psychologically, is this man on the mound that does not show much emotion? Can he handle this? See how many pitches are added to the pitch count, but most importantly, will he be able to separate what just happened and face Harrison and make and execute the pitches?
Josh Harrison popped out to the shortstop first time up. First pitch bent in there for strike 1. A little backdoor slider.
Sound like a pitching coach there, Eduardo. That's pretty good.
Thanks, man. I take notes.
Mel Stottlemyre told me very similar things for years. The great late Mel Stottlemyre.
How you handle adversity?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you really evaluate pitchers.
Well, he's jumped ahead of Harrison 0-2.
Thirds already at 73 pitches.
A lot of strikeouts, a lot of foul balls. Pollock at second, McGuire at first. Reaches out, pops this up. Brantley. A few steps in, now camps under it, makes an easy play. Well, there you go. Check that box. You're able to deal with adversity for Javier.
Cats. You guys had some concerns coming in about Michael after his last start. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, the leg was an issue last start. He had a good bullpen Thursday, and I feel pretty good where he's at right now. Obviously, it's not 100%, but he's in a good spot to compete where he's at.
Yeah, his velocity down a little bit. How do you translate that?
Just keep making pitches. Execution is king, so he's got to keep executing, keep mixing it up, and keep him off balance. And when it's time to put somebody away, get to a good location.
Thanks. Carl, back to you.
Hi, Buster. Thank you very much. Bottom of the fourth. Middle of the order for the Astros. And the first pitch from Kyle Tucker is fouled back. You know, Kopech did say, and it seems like he understood whatever the diagnosis of the knee was, he's going to pitch with discomfort the rest of the year. What does that say to you?
Gamer. Well, I love it. I think you earned a lot of respect from your teammates, from the entire organization, by taking the ball today, running back out there, even though you're less than 100%.
Tucker, playable. Coming in from a long way out is Luis Robert, and there's the play. Does it say to you that he knows what is exactly wrong? Like, I know what it is. It's going to hurt, but maybe I can't do any more damage to it, or it's not as serious as I feared it was.
Yeah, I think you get the confirmation from your physician, from their team doctors that say structurally you're okay. You got a little inflammation in there. There's going to be some pain. Pain management is the key for any athlete. Knowing the difference between pain and injury is the key for anybody in any sport.
All right, here's Yuli Gurriel, his brother Lourdes Gurriel, with a big home run for the Blue Jays today. That's right back up the middle, fielded. Nice play by Harrison. This time a better throw, and they're at 2 down. Tomorrow afternoon, ESPN Plus, the final game of a 4-game series. The New York Mets continue to have the best record of the National League. They'll take on the Marlins at Citi Field. Coverage of the matinee begins at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Marlins got them today. So Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern time, Marlins and the Mets. Dusty Baker and the Astros, quick to point out, we got a brutal schedule coming up. They have the Mets and Yankees. Then they got to fly back, and they have the Yankees for a doubleheader. There's a single game against the Yankees, so they make up for the games they missed at the beginning of the season. This ball is hit well to left field. Going back and looking up, and Crawford boxes it is. J.J. Manajevic. He hits his first home run in the majors. Second player on this Father's Day to have his first hit be a home run in the major leagues. It's 2-0 Astros. J.J. Manajevic.
How about J.J. right here? He's not waiting around. So the Astros only had seen 3 pitches this inning, and all of a sudden on the 4th pitch, the Chicago White Sox and Michael Kopech thought he was taken. Instead, 93.6 miles per hour off the bat, ends up for a home run.
He's going to like hitting in this ballpark. Little fly ball to left field. Number 1.
He had been 0 for 8 in his very young career. We mentioned the power that he has shown in the minor leagues and at the University of Arizona when he was there playing for Jay Johnson, and he goes yard.
He just learned right now how cool the Crawford boxes are here in Houston. By the way, just to let you know, it would have been a home run only in one ballpark, and you just witnessed it right there. 32-degree launch angle, 343 feet. Oh man, you're about to get some really cool gifts. Hold on to it for a little bit.
Matajevic had 12 home runs at AAA Sugarland this season. Batting .313 with an OPS over 1,000 in 39 games. He came over in the 2017 draft. He was a competitive balance round B pick in June of that year. And that is going to be a smile he's wearing for a long time. What a great feeling.
You know what he's saying right there? Hey Siri, who just hit a home run?
I have a feeling there's a Houston security guard making his way down to the Crawford boxes and proposing possibly a deal or a trade.
What do you think? Jersey? Signed baseball and a meet and greet?
Yeah, my brother wants the ball. He realizes too he's been seen on national television. There you go.
There he is.
Cameraman down there. Chas McCormick on a 2-2 pitch. Up the middle, Harrison charges quickly once he saw that ball hit the dirt, and he throws to first to get the speedy McCormick. It was a 9-pitch inning, but there was damage done. We are celebrating with a baseball. Yeah, that's right. Big smile. We'll make a little trade. Maybe another game. Maybe a meet and greet. Maybe an autograph. In any event, it's a moment that Matajevic will never forget.
First hit in the big leagues, a home run. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he can hit, and he's been hitting for a long time, and he's a very confident young man, which you like to see in young players. He hit that ball pretty good. I did tell him next time don't watch it. I know it's your first one, but you got to run.
So Yordan Alvarez had to leave yesterday's game. How much of a relief is it for you guys what you heard from doctors about his injury?
Well, it's a tremendous relief, and you know, we were afraid it could have been a hamate, which would have been 6 to 8 weeks, and MRI showed nothing, showed little information, so maybe he'll be back maybe Tuesday or at least a couple days after that.
Dusty, thanks. Carl, back to you.
Buster, thank you very much. As Adam Hazley steps in, 9-1-2 for the White Sox here in the top of the 5th inning on Sunday Night Baseball. So now I think we're deep into negotiations.
Yeah, negotiate.
We're involving phone calls.
Do not accept the first offer. Or the second. Carl, can I be the agent?
Please go ahead out there, make a deal. He right here, guy in front's helping out. He's got an idea. I mean, the end result of this is pretty obvious. The ball's got to go to Matajevic.
Phone a friend first.
Well, I think that's going on too. We may be phoning mom, dad. It's hard to tell. We got a younger brother there. That appears to be the case. So he's all into this whole negotiation. I don't think Jim Crane is in town today. Do we have to go up to that level for this? Like, where are we going for this?
I was looking forward to Jim Crane being here. See if we can get us back to Omaha a little bit. Jim, if you're listening, we need to get to Omaha tonight. Don't take it. Next offer.
Still beaming.
Javier picks up another strikeout. He's got 5. Hazley strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. It's brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Get a quote at farmers.com. And Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. Over on ESPN2, Oklahoma has taken a 1-0 lead over Notre Dame in a non-elimination game. Both those teams in the College World Series 1-0. And Matthew Fitzpatrick is your United States Open champion. He wins at the Country Club in Brookline. He holds off Will Zalatoris, who missed a birdie putt on the last hole, which would have tied Fitzpatrick. He wins at 6 under par. Scotty Scheffler also 1 shot back at 5 under. So Matthew Fitzpatrick, London, England, wins the United States Open golf tournament.
It's kind of a life changer, right? When you win that tournament.
That young?
Did he not win the amateur one there also in Brookline?
He won an amateur tournament on the same golf course. There was some familiarity. Look at Eduardo. See the thought bubble, and it didn't burst. You delivered.
jumped all in. I'm really curious to see how the negotiations are going. There we go. Uh-oh, he gave it up.
I love it.
Oh, man.
Of course.
I love it.
Of course.
But what was the cost, and what was the first offer, and what was the end result?
It's a win-win, right? I mean, it's a win-win.
It is.
Look out.
Uh-oh. That's a good one. He's meeting someone. This is a good one.
That's great.
That's
I mean,
what it's all about.
Assuming that's Dad, I mean, what a Father's Day memory this is. And that's an assumption. Mendek is walked after nearly taking one off the melon, so he goes down to first.
That could be the future Scott Boras there, right there.
So the home run hit last half inning. J.J. Matajevic, the designated hitter, kind of watching this thing go to the Crawford boxes. Once he stopped watching, he flew around the bases in about 22 seconds. And how about that right there? Well, all sorts of positive vibes on that hit. That's sweet.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes.
All around.
Father's Day first.
Encarnacion, Gerard Encarnacion took the Mets downtown. Huge home run. First home run for Miami. This ball to left, end of the bat. That'll allow Brantley to get under it and make the play. They are 2 down here in the 5th. Tell you, social media blowing up for that dude. He's getting texts from everybody.
Oh, yeah. See it? Sunday Night Baseball right there. Let's go watch a ball game.
I love the little girl behind is eating ice cream, not paying. We're good. We're paying no attention to what's going on there. We are fine.
Scott Van Pelt watching. Has he got a chance?
Yeah, he might. He might. Oof.
Oof. Look up. Get off the phone. Especially when this guy's hitting, they get there in a hurry.
Luis Robert is awfully impressive. I mean, that thing jumped off his bat at 111 miles an hour. 290 hitter, 326, 406. He's got 6 homers to start the season. Abreu behind him's got 9. But there is very little this center fielder can't do. Byron Buxton gets a lot of the attention. This guy is flat out brilliant. This is the foul ball. Watch Robert's reaction.
Remember last week we were having a conversation with Mike Trout saying, I just missed that one.
Yep.
That was the pitch. Well, that was the pitch for Luis Robert. If we stayed back a little bit, this game would have been 2-1.
Pujols, Bo Bichette, Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Robert. 1 of 4 with 200 hits, 100 RBIs, 100 runs in under 175 career games. Luis Robert spent a whole bunch of time playing in Cuba's top league, Serie Nacional, including 15 and 16. Certain guys that look great in baseball uniforms. Luis Robert is one of those guys.
Yeah, it's not a lot of us that used to look good in uniforms, Coney. Couldn't say it with a straight face.
Right center field going over is McCormick diving. He had no chance to get it. It'll go to the wall. Roberts chasing around a guy in front of him, and that's Mendick. He's coming in to score. And Luis Robert doubles hard to the gap in right center field. and it's 2-1.
You know, this is a big mistake. There's a couple things here that the Houston Astros are doing. They're playing deep. They're playing no doubles. McCormick with a runner at first. You cannot dive for this ball unless you are sure to glove it. He is far from it. No reason to leave your feet. You have to cut in front of that ball, take a deeper angle, and be able to get that ball to the infield and hold the runner, the lead runner that started at first and third. Instead, now it's a 2-1 game. Luis Robert now at second base with the tying run.
A 1-2 pitch. Remember the McGuire double? That was an 0-2 pitch. Loan Depot, the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball, is back again this year with a Home Means Everything campaign. It benefits the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. As part of this program, Loan Depot will donate $25. Donate $25 for every RBI hit during the season, which last year totaled more than $665,000. That's terrific, and a big, big thank you to Loan Depot. Well, the foul ball and the way that he was fouling off the fastballs, to me, gave me an indication that this guy's near pitcher kind of dialed in here. Going to be very careful.
Exactly, and you know, Dusty Baker's showing a lot of confidence in Javier here. His high mark on the year for pitch count is 96 pitches, and you see the bullpen is ready to go.
One of the immaculate inning guys, Phil Maton, is warming up. Robert had 9 foul balls and 3 at bats. Abreu up the middle, ranging to his left. Going to be a tough play, hard, and he makes that throw across the diamond. Nice job by Mauricio Dubon to get Abreu. But the White Sox cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. Presented by Taco Bell. Well, we've been following the trip of the baseball that was hit by J.J. Matejevich, and have now got the details. The details have been provided. So the guy that caught it, Ryland Freeman, gives up the baseball, Eduardo.
Yeah.
What would a good deal be in your mind? Then I'll tell you what the deal was.
There's the ball. You know, you have to
that's
start.
That's beautiful. The baseball making its way back to the Astros clubhouse.
You have to start with the. That's great. Love the legs on it. This is great. Get authenticated.
Jason Castro hooks one. Rare hit for Castro into right field, and he is aboard to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning.
And that's huge for Jason. That's his 7th hit of the season for Jason. And again, it's been a struggle offensively as the ball continues to travel through the tunnels. If he takes a left here, he might get into the clubhouse of the Astros.
All right, so give me the deal. What are we looking for?
I'm looking for something has to involve Altuve. It has to. That's a star player on your team.
So you want Altuve involved? You?
I got to get a bat and another couple of autograph balls out of it.
That's Carl with a C, and there it goes.
I got to get a bat out of that deal too.
Well,
we got to get a bat.
Yes.
The deals were. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Ryland Freeman gets 6 tickets to a game, 6 batting practice access tickets. So he's on the field with 5 of his friends.
Okay, that's good.
That's huge because that
we need more.
That can, and a Jose Altuve signed baseball.
And what else? That's good. What else? Do we have a jersey? Do we have a bat?
Here's where I'm going. I think if I'm on the field with 5 of them, that's where I start another negotiation.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to have incredible access. 6 tickets to a game, batting practice access, so you're right there with the guys, and an Altuve signed baseball.
I needed Boris on this deal.
Let's make a deal. Yeah, dude.
We are on the field.
Nailed it. What? We are down on the field.
We get an Altuve ball.
15 minutes of fame.
Our TVU, Steve Henry, who was out there. Mark Gleason also contributing to the cutting edge reporting on the deal that was just cut here in Houston tonight.
Coney, I don't know if it's. We've been away on this more than 15 minutes already.
That's true. He's above and beyond.
Father's Day gift for all of them from Corpus Christi, Freeman family. Back here, Castro's at first. Mauricio Dubon ahead 2-1. Dubon was one of those Giants pieces, you know, that the Giants always have. Helps them win 107 games. Another good year this year. They have so many pieces that fit. Dubon played a role. It's a fastball, 94 on the corner. 2-2, and that one did catch the K zone. You're right, Coney. 58 pitches for Kopech, near 100 for Javier.
Foul balls.
Ryan Stanek has begun to warm in the Houston Astros bullpen. Stanek and Seth Martinez have been lights out for the Astros in their pen. They're both on 16-inning consecutive scoreless streak runs.
Sometimes when you're a pitcher and you have a little subtle injury like Kopech has with his leg, with his knee, you stay within yourself more. You kind of find your off-speed pitches. He's found his curveball today. He's not overthrowing as many pitches because he can't. He's not pushing off as hard. Sometimes that can be a blessing. He might find something out about himself going through this little stretch.
Two balls, two strikes. He misses there. Michael Kopech, when you go on a baseballplayerprofile.com, he's dealt with different things during the course of his career, and he's acknowledged that anxiety and depression were a couple of those things, and his ability to cope with anything that would kind of knock him off of the rails. This is another one of those. He learned a lot about himself in a much different place now than he was. A couple of children as well give him some perspective, but to your point, this is one of those. That ball is about faced. Mauricio Dubon, it is gone. The Houston Astros add two more on Mauricio Dubon's third, and there was no doubt about it. A majestic high shot to left.
Mauricio Dubon, who arrived at the ballpark, and when I saw him, I was like, this is a young player. Looks really young, but really electric as well. Seeing him with San Francisco through the times, as soon as he hit it, he knew. He got it out front. It had the distance, and he did not miss it. 3-2 worked the count well. Astros now adding to the lead, 4-1.
And Altuve bats. That distance, 354, as Altuve swings at the first one and pops it up to center. That home run and Matijevich's home runs, only home runs in this ballpark.
So if Yankee Stadium is a porch job, what is this one called here?
Crawford box job?
Crawford box job?
Got 100.2 miles per hour off the bat. The launch angle nearing 40 at 39. Traveled 355 feet. Got to know where to hit him.
Got Crawford.
He got Crawforded.
And it wasn't Jerry. See the distance there, the launch angle, exit velocity. And as a coach, and I know Alex Cintron most likely watching now from the clubhouse because he was ejected in that first inning. He's going to let him know, look, you cannot try to get too big. You have to stay still with your swing up the middle. And good things will happen if you work the counts.
So Yankee Stadium, Wrigley, here, and Fenway, the parks where you run into those only in this ballpark home runs. The other part of that, so we were just talking about Kopech before that pitch, it seemed like he challenged him with a fastball. That was 95. It's not the 98 that you're used to seeing from him. That's another adjustment that he's going to have to make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Difference between fouling it off and catching up to it.
Go ahead, Buster.
So Matt here in the Crawford boxes. Ryland Freeman.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Caught a first home run.
I did.
Tell me about your negotiation strategy.
So much. And he walked over, the manager for the Astros walked over and said, "What do y'all want?" And I really wanted a JV jersey, a signed jersey by JV. I wanted it so bad, but they said we couldn't get it. And we worked out some stuff, and they said we can get six.
All right, so
Altuve.
Back and forth of the negotiations. Tell me about the counter that you came back with on their first offer.
When she said we don't have JV, I asked, well, my next favorite player is Yuli Gurriel because I'm a big first baseman. I love first base. And I said, can I please get Yuli's jersey or bat? And they said, nope, we can't do that for you either. So Jose Altuve, let's get his ball. Let's go come watch some more Astros games. Let's do it.
Okay, how cool was this moment?
One of the best experiences of my life. I love it so much. I love the game. I love the sport. Whatever. Baseball's amazing.
How much advice?
Whole thing. He's a big negotiator himself. Love him so much. Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks. Carl, back to you.
Yeah, we got the gist of it. So the Astros.
I love what
Verlander, no. Gurriel, no.
Jerseys are out of bounds here.
Look, I'm JV right now, Justin Verlander. I make that happen for him when he comes to the field.
Of course.
Make that happen. This ball's up. That was his first thought. Justin Verlander autographed jersey. If he finds out, he makes it happen.
Yeah. He's going to be right next to Yuli Gurriel during batting practice.
Yeah.
I think there's room for more negotiating.
How about no? Right? Nope.
Can't do that. But I will say this though, that was great for him to say, I love everything about the game. I mean, you can't ask for a better promotion for the sport from a young kid like that. I love first base. I love baseball. Love everything about the game.
There goes Buster.
He got a chance to sit there and talk with Buster Olney. And Dad, in his eyes, just grew. Like he just got bigger and better, helping negotiate that.
So the kid's got a London baseball shirt.
Yeah,
Buster left his notes.
I'm out.
Maybe his younger brother will negotiate now.
Well, that shirt he's wearing, London baseball. London is just south of here, and they won the state championship this year.
Yep,
apparently so.
State player. That was great. That was really great. Bregman 2-2. He also said pregame he's missing the baseball a little, but he's popping everything up. We've seen the last couple of foul balls go sky high, and he swings at one out of the zone, and he is gone. Frustrated with that strikeout.
And that's something that he takes pride in, is not swinging at pitches out of the zone. And right now, that's frustrating for him. This is a guy that takes his at-bat serious, and he tries to stay in, and he doesn't chase out. One of the first things that he did tell me today is, look, I'm not chasing out of the zone, man. You know, I'm just that much closer to getting hot. That's going to bother him because he is so methodical at the plate.
Especially when you look at those more walks than strikeouts.
Yeah. Kopech's first strikeout since the second inning. And now there are two down here in the fifth.
No.
This is Alex Bregman pregame. I mean, this is during batting practice while others are hitting. He just comes out of the cage. He is looking at the bat path, and don't think that this is just today. This is every day.
JD Martinez like. JD's big, used to hang the iPad right on the screen, take a few swings, and then go out. Look at the iPad. All right, Coney, so you're Kopech. What do you take away from this start, given you just came back from that injury? You were all anxious. You were really worried. If this is the new normal for a little while, as much as I hate that term, new normal, how are you assessing yourself?
Well, you know, I think you kind of throw the home runs away because, you know, it is the Crawford boxes here, even though they count. Nope. But you work through something. Now you feel like, okay, I'm okay to go now. And I've got to get into a pitching mode a little more now. If that means throwing more curveballs. You know, but the Crawford boxes are the Crawford boxes. You gave up a couple home runs here. It's like Yankee Stadium. You gave up a couple to right field. Okay. You kind of just try to forget about those.
2-1. Tucker, center field. Robert back at the track. And that is hauled in around 407 feet away from home plate. Mauricio Dubon's ball was not hauled in, other than by a baseball fan who now has himself a souvenir, as Dubon didn't get his ball back. Matijevic did. 4-1.
Had a pretty nice day on the mound, and you look at his mechanics, what's going on. He's staying connected to the rubber by the time his foot plants, and he keeps his hips closed a long time to allow for all that tilt and all that upper body movement to happen. So a very smooth delivery, very connected to the ground, and stays closed a long time.
Ryan Stanek will take over, and tremendous numbers again. Now you're into the Astro bullpen. It has been a strength. 0.82 ERA. The numbers across the board are terrific. He struck out 2 in an inning on Friday against the White Sox. He's 4th in the American League in ERA, 5th in opponent batting average at 133. He's been great. And part of the reason is that right there. 99 to start. It'll be A.J. Pollock, Jake Berger, Reese McGuire.
It's kind of the opposite delivery from Christian that we saw before, Javier. This is short arm gas. Christian Javier had a lot of action upper body, a lot of motion with his upper body. This is just get it out, get it up, and fire it in there.
Hit hard. When you fire it in there like that at 99, you can turn it around too, and that was 105 off the bat. All right, Coney. So Kopech gave up that home run to Dubon. This is his reaction in between innings.
Left hand, please. Left hand. Not with the moneymaker. It's understandable, you know. I mean, he should feel good that he's back in pitching again, and what looked like might have been a more severe injury. He's okay. He's going to be fine. He gave up a couple Crawford box shots today.
The perspective in the moment's a little difficult, isn't it?
Punch the water cooler with your left hand.
I know, we've seen that. It's led to some disastrous outcomes for pitchers.
Absolutely. I wonder if it's more frustration with the ballpark than the execution right there.
Or again, the reality that I'm not the guy I was 3 starts ago. You wonder if that creeps in, and is this really going to be what it is for a while, for the rest of the year? Am I going to have to address this? Those are unknowns.
It's a great point, Carl. Processing everything.
"16 straight scoreless innings over his last 17 games. That's the 3rd longest scoreless inning streak going right now. And on a corner called strike 2 with a slider. Stanek and Seth Martinez, his teammate, 16 innings. Clay Holmes, of course, is at 31 1/3. Exciting series coming up next weekend. 2 of them. You got the Braves, Dodgers, and you got Yankees, Astros. A 100 miles an hour.
I do not recall 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, pitcher coming in the 6th inning, throwing 100 miles per hour. Used to always see it. Maybe in the 8th as a setup guy.
Maybe. Mostly the 9th, though, right?
Mostly the 9th.
Yep, good pitch, and he did commit to that, so Jake Berger strikes out Stanek's first.
Meet Ultimate Hybrid, advanced ceramic and wax technology. The best of both worlds, but better. Only from Mothers.
In steps Reese McGuire. Stanek, of course, a University of Arkansas product. He was outstanding as a junior at Arkansas. 10-2, a 1.39 ERA in 16 starts. 22-8 overall. He's got his eye on the College World Series, the way that Dave Van Horn has the Razorbacks playing. The Mariners originally drafted him, and he said, I'm going to school. It was a 3rd round selection. That's one of those, do I go to school 3rd round? There's some money here, but instead he went to Arkansas. His parents named him after Ryan Sandberg. And they were Cardinal fans, so figure that out.
Well, as you guys well know, the college programs are so much better nowadays.
And that one in particular is next level.
And a lot of Cardinal fans in Arkansas. But you're right. That SEC team is pretty special.
Think about Al Leiter and his son Jack, who had an opportunity to be a 1st-round pick, decided to go to Vanderbilt. Looks like he made the right choice. Out. Now in the Texas Rangers organization as a top prospect.
That's a really good point, because we've had that conversation in Omaha with coaches. Like, what's the choice here for a kid? Do you go into the programs, especially the ones like Arkansas and other SEC schools, and of course Stanford and places like that, where the system absolutely has to move you through as well as any minor league system's going to do it. The access to equipment, technology, food, health programs, training programs,
the maturation process overall. But yes, in some ways, the universities have led the way to teach the major league franchises.
It's a great point.
How to ramp up your technology, how to go about it.
Guys, we got some breaking news. Ryland Freeman, of course, caught that home run ball and negotiated with the Astros. The first thing he asked for was a signed Justin Verlander jersey. Well, that is being sent to him. Justin signing a jersey and sending it along.
That's
Nice.
so great. Buster, you should go out and tell him that. Like, we need to see that reaction. Oh, Ryan has taken off.
And I got to take my tank of oxygen before I do that.
All right, Coney. So with all these guys that have the ability to throw 99, 100, that's a conversation we have every week. What is it? What are the mechanics that allow you to do that? Because clearly there's been an uptick in velocity just in terms of the number of guys that can do it. Where's that come from?
A lot of it's coming on the training side and the mechanical side. And pitchers are learning that by the time your front leg, your lead leg plants is where your arm is in the throwing position.
Slow roller. That's Bregman. Flips with his glove. Bare hand. Safe at first. Wow, was that impressive. Bregman, the former shortstop in college at LSU, flipped it with his glove, and then the bare-handed play by Dubon was nearly converted.
Yeah, he came in and just a little bit too much of the webbing. Give a lot of credit to Dubon for the athleticism of barehanding it.
Ooh,
good pick at Gurriel, but definitely beat it out. But Dubon keeping that left toe right there in the foot on the bag.
A better flip, and this is not a critique, but a better flip instead of dragging him towards left field. You had a real chance to turn that. That would have been as good a defensive play on the infield as we've seen all year.
It's another product of the modern day shift, right? I mean, a
5
third
to
baseman,
6. Yes,
throwing
exactly.
it to the shortstop. 0-1.
Straight over the top, too, for Stanek, huh?
Yes. I mean, to answer your question, Carl, part of it is mechanics, part of it is training. I talked to Justin Verlander before the game about that, how he feels about the new training methods, meaning you use velocity training, weighted baseballs, pitchers pushing the envelope more than ever before.
We're going to hear a little bit of the conversation you had with Justin Verlander. I spent some time with Dusty Baker in his office. We'll hear that too, but there is the ESPN YouTube channel. Both of those interviews with Verlander and Dusty Baker will be able to be seen in their entirety. And I know this, Dusty Baker, I nominate him as most interesting man in baseball.
What did he start our conversation with when we met him?
The first question somebody asked him, his response was, well, I remember sitting and talking with Sadahara O. And you say to yourself, no one ever says that. No one will ever say that. But Dusty, first answer, I remember sitting talking with Sadahara O. There it is, youtube.com/ESPN for the full conversation that Coney had with Justin Verlander. We'll hear a little bit of that later. And Dusty Baker back up the middle. And the flip there is made. Dubon tippy-toes around the bag and steps on it. Stanek solid again. Gurriel, the home run hitter, Matajevic, and Chas McCormick when we come back. Cast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. It is brought to you by Hankook Tire, evolutionized for EV fitment, electrified Hankook. Buster Olney breaking stories about home run balls. Down on the field, back up here in the booth, Carl Ravitch, David Cohn, Eduardo Perez. New pitcher on the bump now as Michael Kopech is out. And Jimmy Lambert, 3.09 ERA and 11+ innings, a 22% K rate, right on Major League Baseball average. A little issue with walks. Take a look at Lambert's last few outings against the Tigers. He went 2 innings. He struck out 2. He is 5 scoreless over his 3 relief outings with the White Sox this season. So Jimmy Lambert now on the mound. 4-1 Astros for Yuli Gurriel, J.J. Matajevic, and Chas McCormick. Houston after their 41st win of the year, 40 up, 25 down. The White Sox just a game under 500. Gurriel goes after the first pitch and he fouls it straight back. Show you a wild play from Omaha in just a second as that game between Oklahoma and Notre Dame continues. Off speed pitch. It was a quick pitch, 86 miles an hour. See, more pitchers kind of mess with the timing of the hitters.
You know, it is a good weapon to have.
Sure is.
If you can throw strikes with it. The element of surprise is the key.
Gurriel, center field, and an easy one for Luis Robert. Yuli Gurriel retired. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Best coverage in today's game. Let's take a look through the T-Mobile multi-view at the home run from Matajevic. Altuve came off of the bench, and Bregman's there. Look at the celebration from Dubon. That was the family that received the baseball and will now receive a Justin Verlander signed jersey to go with the 6 tickets.
Outside.
Love it. JV came through.
A viral moment in the making.
That's the man right there. That's what it's all about, though.
Ryland Freeman is 16 years old. He'll have a tremendous story to tell when he goes back to school. You got to write your book report about what the greatest moment was over the summer.
Oh, what's in the bag? What's in the bag?
Add a line. It's funny, Justin Verlander signed jersey has been added to the line.
Oh, yeah.
You go to baseballreference.com and you go to Alex Bregman's baseball reference webpage and you go to awards. There's now a new line added underneath awards. Line shot, nice catch. Danny Mendick ranges to his left and snares that line drive off the bat of Matajevic. But yeah, you go to the baseball reference page now. Under awards, one Mike Trout's Fantasy Football League.
It's a big deal.
It's on the webpage.
I asked Alex about it today. He goes, I can't believe that's receiving so much attention.
That was Berger who was in the shift, not Mendick, who made the play. Matajevic hit it hard, but he's retired.
He did tell me that one of the big moves he made late in his fantasy league season was acquiring Pat Mahomes. That'll do it.
So Kopech and Mahomes grew up together. Remember that story? And there was a famous high school game where they pitched against each other. They went to competing high schools. Mahomes threw a no-hitter. Kopech was hitting 98 on the gun, but Kopech will tell you that that's about as memorable a game as he's ever pitched. And it was he and Mahomes, and they developed a really cool relationship growing up. As he would say, that there's not a lot of folks from the 903 that have the success, so they are a bond, and they do stay in touch. They speak often.
No. 3-1.
Mahomes' love of baseball is well known.
Sure, with
from his
dad,
father,
yes.
obviously, and he's also now part of the ownership group with the Kansas City Royals.
While we're on the football subject, you guys remember Jack Lambert, Hall of Famer, number 58 with the Steelers?
Yeah.
No relation to Jimmy Lambert, just in case if you guys are wondering, who also is wearing number 58.
Now let's take a look at this play quickly from Omaha, and then we'll be right back here. Game between Notre Dame and Oklahoma. Notre Dame fires to third. John Spikerman went in. He's not been called out or safe. The ball ricocheted off the third base coach. Right back to the third baseman for Notre Dame. Spikerman thought he was already out. He wasn't, and then he was tagged. Have you ever seen that before?
No, the third base coach got doinked pretty good there, and he was out of the play. So he couldn't tell the runner to get back on the base.
Jason Castro got a hit his last time up. Former Stanford Cardinal. As Waters said, what is that, his 7th hit of the season?
7th hit.
It boosted his average up over 100, 109. But the Astros, this was a conversation I thought we would have too. They're getting very little production from their catcher. Now Maldonado is a rock. But does Contreras' name get tossed around here in Houston, given 0 production offensively from the catching position?
I don't think so.
No.
And the reason I say that is because
this one to right, and that's the third out.
We'll talk about it when we come back, because it's going to take a lot longer than 3 seconds.
For you to explain that?
Absolutely.
AA Insurance, with coverage options made to help active military and veterans and their eligible family members protect what they've worked hard for. Dusty Baker's going to ride the bullpen arms that have helped them so far this season develop what was the biggest lead in any division. Now it's the Yankees and their lead in the American League East. Rafael Montero, terrific numbers like everybody else out of that pen. Walk rate real close to average, strikeout rate a little bit higher. And you'll get some more cheese here. It's 96 to start. 1 ball, no strikes.
At one point, Rafael Montero and Jacob deGrom were neck and neck as prospects in the Mets organization.
Big swing and a miss. Adam Hazley, as we ticked it up a mile per hour. Think about the names, speaking of great seasons, that the Mets have had in their system as pitchers. And the arms. There are things that, in spite of the lack of success they've had, they did really well. Bregman short off, tough play, high throw, no tag made. Tough play from Bregman. Gurriel went up and his glove came down, but he was unable to slap a tag on Hazley, so the leadoff man aboard in the 7th.
Going away from the bag. This ball starts foul, but you can tell easily it's coming in, and Bregman did everything he could, just released it a little too early, and Gurriel had to get off the bag, jump, and Hazley hustled down through.
Our buddy Sarah Lang says that DeGrom and Montero debuted on the same day.
Yeah, that's a different level. Thank you, Sarah. She doesn't miss a thing. On it.
Yeah.
Montero was the starter against Syndergaard in the Futures game that was held at Citi Field. He's much more concerned with dealing with Danny Mendick.
Talked about the defense of the Astros behind the plate. One of the big reasons Dusty Baker loves what they do behind. And again, what he needs is more production from center field than he does from behind the plate. If he's able to get that, I think eventually that's the need offensively that the Astros do need, because they prevent so many runs with the way that they break down opposing hitters, both Maldonado and Castro.
Velasquez warming in that White Sox bullpen. So finish the train of thought. Don't let the commercial get in the way of the Contreras maybe coming to Houston. You said, I don't think that's going to happen.
I just think Contreras is more of an offensive guy. Yes, you're looking for offense, but you're going to give up so much on the defensive standpoint. And I think what they have here in the 1-2 punch behind the plate defensively is elite.
That was elite. That was filthy. But that sinker that came right in underneath the hands of Danny Mendick for a strikeout from Montero. Download the MLB app, get video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your favorite team and the rest of the league.
It's an interesting point, Eduardo, is that coming into this game, according to Baseball Reference, Houston was leading the American League in outfielders WAR, wins above replacement by a long shot. And obviously, on the catcher side, they're last in the American League in overall WAR, which encompasses everything, defense and offense. Yeah. So it is an interesting debate to have. I mean, they are getting the production, especially if Alvarez is not hurt like we think. But the Houston Astros outfield way ahead in terms of overall production. 3.6 WAR. In second place is when second place is the Yankees.
Yeah. Yep. And again,
double play ball here. Flip and an easy one as Andrew Vaughn is retired on a 6-4-3.
There's so many ways of seeing it, and that's the beauty of the game. Let's take it on to the bottom half.
Take a look at our game track. It's brought to you by Geico. As we head to the bottom of the 7th on Sunday Night Baseball, Michael Kopech gave up a couple of Crawford box home runs. Christian Javier, 5 innings, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. JJ Matajevic has provided the highlight of the night. It was a solo shot, his first career hit in the major leagues. It led to a fan who caught the ball, then negotiated a deal for what turned into a Justin Verlander signed jersey, 6 tickets to a game, 6 batting practice tickets, and Jose Altuve signed baseball. And there's our buddy, who is the story of the night off the field. Jose Altuve wired earlier. Here's part of a conversation he had.
¿Qué bateaste?
Me tiré muy atrás, mira.
Sí, pero está un poquito mojado. ¿Qué bateaste?
Altuve wasn't even asking about the slide. He's like, what did you hit? He was already thinking offensively. You hit a slider? Okay, that's all I need to know.
That's a good point about the slide, though.
It was a good point. All right, check out Vince Velasquez's numbers. High ERA, just under 5. At some point, you can't keep using the guys that are going to be the ones that you think are going to help you win a game. This is just to try to keep it close, and maybe they can score some runs. 94 down, just misses. It's 2-0. Dubon home run earlier, and a single. Mauricio Dubon 2 for 2. Batting in the 9 spot for the Houston Astros. And now 3-0. Yeah, the Contreras conversation is a part of a much bigger conversation. The way that the American League shapes up currently, Yankees and Astros would get the bye. And remember, those two teams you want to be avoiding at any cost the first round of a playoff that's been expanded to 12 teams, and the first 2 in each league will get a bye. That's huge. And right now it's Yankees 1, Astros 2. The other point with the Astros and anybody, if you're thinking the Yankees stay healthy, are you going to have to be able to score, because they are putting up numbers at an historic rate. They pitch great, but there's going to be that game where it's 7-5, 8-6, is it not?
It's an excellent point, Carl, and it makes you wonder, isn't there room for a defensive catcher and still adding Contreras from the Cubs? You know, when Justin Verlander pitches, okay, that's fine. You get your guy. But on the other days, how about a little surplus value behind the plate? It's a valid question.
Tony in on the consideration. Tony.
Yeah, guys, I think the quandary for the Yankees and the Astros would be the same, right? Do you want to bring in a veteran catcher and essentially take at bats away from catchers who've done really well in running 2 of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball? And Coney, to your point, maybe the Astros have more DH at bats available. Maybe not. It depends on how they'd feel about playing Alvarez and Brantley in the corners.
It's true, and the Yankees are getting some offense from Jose Trevino. Whether that's sustainable or not remains to be seen, but he's been a real revelation for them.
I think you look at what the Yankees had to do. They got better defensively right on the left side of the infield. They got better behind the plate with the pitch calling, the framing as well. And it's given them consistency, and it's given the pitchers conviction to be able to throw what they're putting down, what they're working on. And the Astros pitchers, all of them, trust what both Maldonado and Castro have done. It's been unfortunate that they have not even been able to hit much, but they've been able to neutralize so much of opposing offenses.
Velasquez walked Dubon, and back to Jose Altuve at the top. Altuve singled and scored in the first. And a ground out to third and a fly out to center. This one will not get close to the Crawford boxes. Coming in left is Pollock, and he's there to make the play.
If you're gonna chill with Woodbridge, then chill. Because why not is a perfectly acceptable reason. And if it holds wine, it's a wine glass. Woodbridge, wine your way.
So Sarah Langs again chimes in because she's part of this conversation and says no team has ever won a World Series that has acquired a catcher mid-season. Now, that may be coincidence. It may be circumstantial. But so far that hasn't happened. And to your point, for both of you, if the Yankees are thinking about it, or the Astros, they're favorites in the league to represent the American League in a World Series.
There's some history there too. You know, you talk about the Yankees, and it's always the Red Sox first, the rivalry, the best in sports. But
oh yeah, no, they're developing something with
Yankees. Astros got a little something going on for a while now.
Velasquez comes in, walks his first batter, and the strike zone a little smaller than what we saw early in the game. And early in the game, we saw Alex Cintron get thrown out because of a strike zone. And the point he was making, you got to give me north or south. You got to have one of them. And we saw him get thrown out after strikes were called on pitches that were outside the zone, top and bottom. 2-0 to a dangerous hitter, Brantley. 2-1.
And the reality is, as a coach, you have to, one, protect your players, because those are the important ones. You have to keep them on the field. You fight for them. And two, you do it because you'd rather it be you than Dusty Baker.
And Velasquez now on the same page with Reese McGuire, and the 2-1 pitch driven to right field. Paisley going back. He's still going. He won't get it. One hops the wall, and that'll be a ground rule double for Brantley. Took a changeup out to right center and blasted it 376 feet. One hop the wall. And it hurt him because it will not allow the run Dubon to come around and score, which he would have.
Yeah, in a 4-1 game, now the infield has to play in, but this pitch misses location completely. It's supposed to be a changeup down and away. Instead, it's down and in. Michael Brantley, consistent with the bat path. That's doing him an easy favor right there. They got lucky here. Ball hits the warning track and just goes over.
Yes, we mentioned about the Houston Astros outfield, very productive. Brantley, a big part of that, the #1 ranked left fielder in the American League, according to Baseball Reference WAR.
And Tucker is right there defensively as well. They're all coming in for Bregman.
Okay, this is a play that Tony La Russa has done for quite some time, and that's to play the middle infielders at halfway and then crash. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, and they'll crash when the pitcher comes set.
And what's the value of moving like that?
It's more about going on contact or not if the third base coach tells the runner. This time they freeze. And what he's hoping is the first pitch, by crashing, that way Dubon at third base might freeze on anything hit hard on the ground. But if they play halfway, even with the speed of Dubon, if he hesitates for a second, they might have a chance to play in. Being down 4-1, I don't believe in trickery so much. I would play him in.
Velasquez has fallen behind again. And with one out, Bregman trying to lift it at the very least, and he does, but not on the infield. And this will spin back behind the plate and still be caught.
I hit the ceiling.
The home plate umpire points up to the screen, says safe. That deflected off of something up top.
Okay, so the way the rule works in this stadium is if the ball hits the roof and it is already in foul territory, automatically it's a foul ball. Certain areas here in the roof that if it does hit in fair territory, then it's in play.
Corey Blazer is the only guy that could have a view of that, because where we are, you can't see the roof.
Malachi Moore assisted also on the call. Corey Blazer looking at him immediately.
How many balls has Bregman hit exactly the same tonight? Straight up in the air.
That's his frustration. That's what he's been doing most of the season.
All right, follow that ball and hits that guardrail right there. And then it knocks against another one. Good job by Reese McGuire. He kept an eye on it.
I appreciate that roof being closed because it was 99 degrees today in Houston. So.
Another one straight up in the air. This one will go to the seats. So is there something mechanically why is, I mean, he is literally popping the ball up on the infield.
Yeah, so he had told me that he's a click ahead than what he should be. And I asked him then, why then don't you use that back leg more as a rudder and point it a little bit more towards the catcher? That way it'll keep you tight with the inside part of the back leg and actually get you one click later. One click behind where he is usually.
goes full 3-2 on Bregman. Chance to break it wide open here in the bottom of the 7th. Already up 4-1. Seven homers, 30 RBIs. Dubon is at third base, and Brantley, after a double, is at second. Very good with runners in scoring position, this team, and here it comes. Swing and a miss. How about a slider that was up in the zone, and Bregman is gone with a strikeout, his second of the night.
Hit the ball up here on him. And every pitch was up. He's looking up the entire time and saw spin, but he committed to it.
Often overlooked and not necessarily getting the attention that the guys who were here, Correa, Springer, and even the ones that are still here get. But Kyle Tucker is terrific in the 4-hole, and he hooks one foul on the first pitch he sees.
I would be surprised right now if Velasquez throws him a strike. You look at the numbers right here when it comes to the 90th percentile exit weighted on base average with expected batting average and slugging each of the last 2 seasons. Who's on top? It's Kyle Tucker. Big names there with him.
Play some right field too.
Oh, really well. Velasquez trying to pitch out of a jam, and the White Sox go into a shift with 3 on the right side.
The interesting part here is, Eduardo, is you got first base open. We just showed you the numbers on Kyle Tucker. Velasquez's control's been a little bit off. He tends to be a little bit wild. A lot of pressure on a pitcher to pitch with the bases loaded. I wasn't a fan of it, but I certainly can debate that. I know you're probably a fan of showing this guy first base right now.
Either you show it to him or you have to trust that Velasquez, every pitch that he's going to make is going to be out of the zone. And then you can face Gurriel, who has been struggling this season, and you don't wake him up by saying, I'm intentionally walking Tucker to face you.
You know what that could set up, though, a potential Gurriel grand slam for each brother today.
I love it. Love what you're thinking. And this is Tony La Russa, how he manages. I remember being in the Cardinals, and he was not a fan of the intentional walk. I understand what happened in LA with Max Muncy and all. I get it. But in St. Louis, Tony La Russa did not like putting 4 fingers up. And it really surprised me when he did then, and it would surprise me if he does now.
2 balls and a strike to Tucker. And that one to second. Harrison, nice play, and he gets Tucker, and he prevents the run from coming in. And he prevents any chance from Yuli Gurriel joining his brother Lourdes Gurriel on this Father's Day by hitting a grand slam. It stays 4-1, 8th inning coming up. We'll have 3, 4, 5 on Sunday Night Baseball. Cast of Sunday Night Baseball on this Father's Day is presented by Taco Bell. Great images from around the ballpark, and we know around many major league ballparks. Fathers, daughters, fathers, sons. Circle that Father's Day on your calendar, and you take them to the ballpark. A Lorenzo Cain lookalike a moment ago. ESPN's telecast enjoying the sights and sounds of Minute Maid Park. Luis Robert will face Hector Neris, a Vince Velasquez ex-teammate, pointed out by our booth mate Ed Safita. Rolling through tonight. Eddie killing it with the intel.
There's a reliever out there. They've been through Philly over the last few years, that's for sure.
Good to have Ed present here.
Wasn't an easy trip for Ed. Little overnight flight. For some reason, Eddie decided to take the red eye all the way to Philly instead of stopping maybe in Dallas and just coming to Houston. He went all the way West Coast to East Coast, regretting the decision. Just looking for a pillow. Ooh, look out. Bat going out to shortstop. We have to avoid the bat. And there was no choice for Mauricio Dubon as the bat shattered, flew right toward him, and he had a serpentine around it. And Altuve didn't react to the baseball because they were both staring at that wood.
I mean, Altuve just stayed flat-footed and said, I do not want any part of this at all. Mauricio the one playing a little, let's stay away from the barrel. But Altuve was like, I'm not moving. This is shattered right here. It's the bat head, the baseball, and Dubon's like,
That's scary. Remember the serpentine in the movie? Alan Arkin?
Yes.
Look at Altuve. Nope.
I get it now. That's a good reference, Carl. Went over my head the first time.
I sensed that you didn't hear it, and I knew you were well informed on the movie. Tony's our movie music expert.
I wouldn't say expert, but well, always looking for a chance, Eduardo, to throw a reference in there.
So with that break for the White Sox, Neris has to deal with Jose Abreu. And Abreu pops this up, the bat stays whole, and this is a lot easier for Dubon to make the play. MLB The Show 2022 available now on PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and for the first time the Nintendo Switch system. That's rated E for everyone. MLB The Show 22 and the 2022 Chevrolet MLB All-Star Ballot is now open. You scan the QR code on your screen right there, scan it, or visit MLB.com/vote to send your favorite players to LA this summer. The All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, Dodger Stadium this summer. Here comes A.J. Pollock. And Altuve moves to the shortstop side, strike one. White Sox last 3 innings have had their leadoff man aboard and haven't been able to move him on very far. While we go to Los Angeles during the All-Star break to do some work, what do you have coming up?
I'm going to watch these Houston Astros go to New York next weekend and work that series.
That ball is hooked into the corner. That's going to get to the wall. Luis Robert now as the ball got away from Brantley. He will come in to score. Now to third base, A.J. Pollock. Oh, what an odd hop out there underneath the Crawford boxes that sent Brantley scampering after it. And just like that, the tying run comes to the plate after that shattered bat led to a Robert single. Pollock ends up on third. Look at Brantley looking over there like I've never seen that type of hop before.
Well, that hop changed everything here. As a normal double down there, ricochets right on by as Brantley's got no chance. Is going to allow a run to score, and then also all the way to third base.
That's an athlete too, running those bases. No way to predict that.
You can't predict. I mean, think about this inning. You can't predict the shattered bat. You're certainly not going to predict that. And here we are now with Jake Berger as the tying run for the White Sox.
Yeah, the body language from Joe McEwing, the third base coach, told you all you need to know.
Yeah, but in the All-Star break, you're going to repair yourself.
I am. You know, I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to go get hip replacement surgery on my left hip, my land leg, all those years.
Yep.
And I'm rolling the dice. I'm very confident and not going to be down for long.
I think as a gambler, you're taking a pretty good, healthy risk here. And we're all delighted to see that procedure and have it be a success for you.
Yeah, it's time. You know, actually, I talked to Joe McEwing. I mentioned the third base coach for the White Sox. He had hip surgery, hip replacement, and he was playing golf in 3 weeks.
I'm telling you.
3 weeks.
That's out of play. It's funny, I saw Joe Espada come out, and he was talking with Buster. He's dealing with knee issues.
Yes, he is.
And he's talking about getting a knee replacement. Sadly, I said, I've had a partial knee replacement. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever done. The 0-2. And this one is going to get the run in as Altuve ranges to his left, and he throws out Jake Berger. But he gets the run in, and just like that, we've got ourselves a one-run ball game.
Good job right there, because the infield is playing back. Don't try to do too much. I know you don't want to give away outs or anything like that, but you'll take the run. Give yourself a chance.
That's what Vince Velasquez did. You know, that last half inning, it looked sketchy, and he didn't allow a run to come in. Maris's pitch is high, so Joe Kelly's now warming in the White Sox bullpen. There's a strike right down the middle, 94 to Reese McGuire. Foul off his foot. Joe Kelly reinstated from the injured list. He had a strained left hamstring just before game in Detroit. Been really solid with a hold in 6 of his 8 games this year. That's in the dirt. That was a cool shot, because there's so much conversation that you do with your dad when you go to the ball game. Some questions have to do with what's going on the field, and you can see maybe it's a question about the shift and why Altuve's way out there in right field. About the questions you can ask, though, your dad or your mom or whoever is with you at the ball game that you couldn't even ask years ago because things are so different now.
And it might be the last year that we'll get the shift question also from the kids.
Will the shift prevent 4 outfielders?
Yes. Yes, it will. You're going to have to have feet on the dirt on both sides of the bag to start with. Yes, so that will eliminate 4 outfielders. And it'll eliminate what you see right here, the wishbone, the Oklahoma wishbone offense there in right field.
Good pitch, change up in the dirt, and the strikeout is recorded. Love where we went with the wishbone. Barry Switzer, yes. We're going there. It's 4-3. Huh?
Very dated.
Of the Lightning. Game 3 tomorrow night. Stanley Cup Finals. Colorado leading 2-zip. Coverage starts at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain on ABC and ESPN+. Yeah, game 2 was not a good game, unless you were an Avalanche fan. That thing ended early, and then they kept piling on. But change of venue, Tampa back home. Really good team. Looking forward to the coverage tomorrow night on ABC and ESPN+. So Kelly was warming, but it's Vince Velasquez back on the mound. Bottom of the 8th inning, Ryan Presley starts to throw for Houston in their bullpen. And Gurriel swings to the first one. Josh Harrison yields. 1 down. Nice catch. Justin Verlander's signed jersey for Ryland Freeman. My gosh, came to the ballpark looking, spent some time with my brother and dad, and look what I'm going home with, not to mention the tickets. What a great night. Ryland Freeman and the Freeman family, because it was this guy, Matijevic, who hit that home run. First home run of his career, first hit of his major league career. Matijevic is retired. There are 2 down. Check out the conversation I had with Dusty Baker before the game. Okay, so a couple of significant aspects of today. It's Father's Day.
Yeah.
So you're a dad, you're a granddad, you had a dad. What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me because my dad was the most influential, male figure in my life.
It wasn't always a great relationship, was it?
Yeah, it was always a great relationship until I signed pro ball.
Right.
From 18 to 21, it was mostly on me because my dad didn't want me to sign, and so my dad took my contract to court, and so they invoked the Jackie Coogan child prodigy law, where the state of California was my trustee over my affairs till I was 21. And then my money tripled, and that's when I started watching the stock market. So all of a sudden, my dad wasn't this mean guy anymore. You know what I mean? So then we got close again.
Today is Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. We're in the state of Texas. Mm-hmm. You're obviously a black man, as you told us a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Can't change that. What does this day mean in that sense?
Well, it means a lot. It means a lot, you know, to African Americans, because that's the day that we're supposed to be free, even though it was more in words than it was in action. And my mom being a black American history teacher in California, you know, we used to practice Juneteenth in our house. And then when I went down to Galveston last year, where they had the Juneteenth, but I missed that celebration because I was playing ball. But I could feel the spiritual vibes, and I know it's practiced big time in Texas.
Much more on the YouTube channel with Dusty Baker, and it goes into all the artifacts, the things he has in his office, Baker wines and all that stuff. But this is a significant day for him and for the rest of the country.
Yeah, now a national holiday, rightly so.
Time out!
You know, ironically too, it's the 50th anniversary of the Curt Flood ruling on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
On this day, 50 years ago, Curt Flood actually lost his case. The Supreme Court ruled against him, but certainly opened the doors and paved the way for modern day free agency.
Time out, time out. 1-2.
Celebration marking the freedom of the enslaved black people in Galveston, Texas, is where it all happened in 1865. Ultimately led to the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth is short for the 19th of June. It did become a federal holiday in 2021. Not all states have it, but certainly in Galveston and in this state, it is a significant date. And to Cody's point, significance is not lost around the entire country, whether it's a law or not. Two balls, two strikes. Coming back, this didn't hit any part of the roof, and the catch is made. Reese McGuire there. Ryan Presley ready to come in, trying to get the Astros their 31st win of the season. It's only a one-run game. 8-9 and top of the order due up. Sports Center next. Michael Leaves, Nicole Briscoe. Live post-game interview from right here. Yankees trying to win their 50th. Blue Jays had something to say about that, and they try to do something they hadn't done all year. They'll catch up with the newly crowned U.S. Open champion Matthew Fitzpatrick. An outstanding effort in the final round of the Open at Brookline. All the baseball highlights, college baseball as well. Sports Center is next right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. And here comes Ryan Presley to try to close this thing out for Dusty Baker and his Houston Astros. 12 saves on the season. First pitch swing and a miss. Josh Harrison, Adam Hazley due up, and Danny Mendick.
No!
Mentioned early on in the game how important it was going to be the bottom of the order for each team. The bottom of the order was going to be the catalyst, and so far it's been the Houston Astros with the two-run homer of Mauricio Dubon that has the Astros up by 1.
One ball, one strike. White Sox need a runner, and that's inside to Josh Harrison, out of the way at 95. Presley threw an inning on Tuesday night, picked up that 12th save of the season. He's 12 of 14, 6 in the American League. And the Astros record in one-run games, second best to the Yankees this season. Between Kopech, Presley, even Javier, the knuckle curve, the slow pitch has been as effective as any pitch we've seen tonight.
And that one is a tight spinner too. 3,360 RPMs on that one. It puts him in an elite category. 79 miles an hour with that kind of spin on it. Wow, that's a snapdragon.
And that's one of the big reasons why the Astros a few years back went out and got him from the Minnesota Twins.
Just 34% more than average, that's all.
Not a tick above.
Yeah, 5 inches more drop than average. Both ways. Horizontal and vertically. It's a buzzsaw coming in there.
Will he go back to it on the 2-2? No, he paints, but he just missed outside 96, and the count full now to the leadoff hitter here.
This is the thing. Presley has a lot of confidence in being able to throw the slider 3-2. So Harrison has to think 2-2 in this count with that mentality, knowing that he could have that slider in the back pocket or the 96.
No swing, says the first base umpire. All the umpires in the seats disagree, but that will allow the leadoff man here, ninth, to go to first base, Josh Harrison.
That was close right there, too. And again, Harrison, knowing the importance of getting on, was able to hold back on that swing. You be the judge at home. Oh, you pop
man.
out.
What do you think, pitcher?
Yeah, he could have easily hit a double with that swing.
Wow, slugging percentage today is pretty high on check swings.
You know, my whole point, and it's not ruled this way, and we've talked about this before, Carl, but if the bat enters the strike zone and you could spoil a potential strike 3 pitch, then it's got to be called a swing.
Lays down a bunt. Bregman fields it in foul territory, so that'll send Harrison back. Graveman is warming in the White Sox bullpen.
Interesting call right here by, if this sign came from Tony La Russa to bunt right there, you're on the road and you're thinking, okay, I want the lead, not the tie on the road. But the way Tony La Russa sees it right now is the bottom half of the 9th inning for the Astros is up. So if he can tie it, he might have an opportunity with the top half of the order in the 10th.
2 strikes. Strike 3, swinging. Wicked 89-mile-an-hour slider.
We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and we definitely needed more space. That was the absolute best change in our family, because they have so much space to run around now. Well, not her yet, but him.
Oh.
One down for Danny Mendick. Presley looking for a ground ball. Dubon and Altuve up the middle for the Astros, with Harrison on first base. The next one in there, called strike 1.
Mendick doing a nice job of holding Harrison on first, and he's not doing it just with a quick move home, but more with just holding the ball a little bit longer, sometimes quicker to the plate. Just keeping him off balance so he wouldn't get a good jump.
Yeah, that's so important, and a great point, Eduardo. Not only just on a potential stolen base, but a gapper in this ballpark. Harrison could easily score. You know, we talk about the Crawford boxes and yielding home runs, but this park plays pretty close to neutral because of the gaps and center field being so deep. So any gapper here, Harrison has a real shot at scoring.
This one to right. charging and making the play for the second out. It's Kyle Tucker. 1 out away. As we remind everybody, next Sunday night we will be with the Dodgers and the Braves in Atlanta, right here on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Please join us. Our coverage starts at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown. The Los Angeles Dodgers roll into the home of the defending World Series champions.
No Mookie Betts on the IL. Broken rib.
It's concerning for the Dodgers for sure. Freddie Freeman going back home to Atlanta. Good hitter, good pitcher, Andrew Vaughn and Ryan Presley. Swings at it, and it's to center. Right there is McCormick. And it's over. The Astros get a win 4-3. Their bullpen holds again very, very well. Good start from Javier. And a memorable night for J.J. Matajevic with a home run. And that kid who caught the baseball and now has a Justin Verlander signed jersey and some tickets to a future ball game. That's Rylan Freeman. That will do it for us here in Houston. For Buster Olney, our producer Joe McCoy, director Ben Johnson, Sarah Langs and Ed Svita behind the scenes, Eduardo Perez, David Cohn, and here in the booth, Carl Ravitch. Hope you've enjoyed the presentation of Sunday Night Baseball. Don't forget, all week, College World Series from Omaha until we see you again next Sunday night. Enjoy SportsCenter, everybody. The Astros are winner by 1.